Hello, hello, welcome. As I have noted in the title of this stream, I do need to do laundry tonight. I started the wash, so at some point an alarm will go off. I will need to go switch my stuff over to the dryer, and then we'll continue. That's like 20 minutes from now, though, and I felt ready to stream, so I figured I'd start and then we'll switch it over and keep going. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this stream. We are going to watch, as is noted in our agenda here. I found, because I've just been searching Emily Baldoni on YouTube. I want to know more about this woman. And I found that the 100th episode of Man Enough is titled Woman Enough. I'm not sure how much Justin and Jamie are in this, because I think from reading the description, I think that it's possible that this episode is Justin's wife, Emily, Jamie's wife, Natasha, and Liz Plank. And I think it's the three of them talking, and then maybe we only have Jamie and Justin for a little bit. So I'm not really sure what we're getting into here, but they titled it Woman Enough, which I didn't know about. I I joked in a live a couple of months ago that how funny it would be if Little Shop of Alley and Medusini and I did like a very pretentious table sitting around, very pretentious podcast sitting around a table, and we called it Woman Enough. I didn't know Man Enough had already done that. So yeah, I want to watch that. Also, I redid my undercut today. I have, contrary to popular belief, I have had an undercut the whole time. For as long as I've had a YouTube channel, I've had an undercut, but it gets really shaggy. And you can't really tell because I have a fair amount of hair on the top of my head. Like even right now, I have some shit pinned back, because I have a lot of hair, so you can't really tell that it's an undercut, but you can right now because it's very fresh. I just did this today. I'm very excited about it. YouTuber enough. It is only funny if we get the biggest table on earth. We need the biggest table on earth and then the smallest in-ground pool that has ever existed in our backyard. Also, you can't really see because I'm sitting down, but this is another, I promise I'm not sponsored by TJ Maxx. I'm just, I'm a Maxxinista. Another TJ Maxx find. Isn't this cute? It's got a bunch of canned sardines on it. I am allergic to fish of all sorts. I can't eat fish. I had to stop working on clam chowder Fridays at the retirement home because I got anaphylaxis from the clam chowder. But I think art of sardines in cans is really cute. A lot of people use a lot of colors I really like with this. So I really like this shirt. So yeah, I wanted to note the shirt because you're only going to be able to see very little of it throughout. Jojo, you want to come say hi? Come say hi. Come over here. She has a very particular toy in mind that she wants me to play with her with. And she's not going to come over because she's mad we're not doing that right now. All right. So let me pull up my tab here. Make myself real tiny. Put myself in the attic. And this one, nope. Here we go. All right. As I have been starting all of our streams lately, this is our first ever merch. We're doing I went to Womb World and all I got was this lousy t-shirt and some really weird ideas about gender shirt. It comes in all sorts of colors. I ordered this blue one because I felt like it had like a nice little trans rights theme with the pink and the blue and the white. You can order it in whatever color you'd like. We've got some yellow. I made sure we had a lot of pink options. There are 3 different pink options. You could get this neon pink. You can get this like kind of dusty, I was going to say dusty, woomy pink, if you will, but I didn't want to say that. And then I felt like I had to explain myself. And then there's also this like kind of reddish pink. But there's other options too. Like I said, there's the blue. There's this like nice rusty orange. You got some dark options, grays, really dark greens, blue. We got a black option as well, and these are all unisex. And as is already on my post about it, the money from it is being split in this Act Blue campaign, which splits evenly among 94 abortion funds across the country. All of the money raised is going to go to that. So far, we have raised $103. We've sold 11 shirts, and some people have chosen to donate in addition to the cost of the shirt, which is amazing. I'll scoot this over a little bit. So basically, I don't need to sell 50 in order for the shirts to get made. Everybody who buys a shirt will get a shirt. I just set 50 as like a goal because I felt like that would be an amount of money that wouldn't feel kind of just silly split between that many funds. I was a little bit concerned that we'd only sell like maybe 5 or 6 tops, and that 2 of those would be me and 1 of them would be my best friend. So I'm really excited that we've already sold 11 and we've already raised $103. This particular run of shirts is going until the 30th of this month. So the campaign goes for 18 more days, but that's just when they're going to send me the first payout and we'll make the first donation to the abortion funds. So after that point, either this exact shirt will get relaunched if there's outcry for that, or I thought maybe we could do some form of like a little nuanced corner call for art and maybe do a second run of Womb World shirts. And I haven't spoken to anybody about this, like officially. Just I've spoken to a friend of mine about that. I think that this would be cool. I'm making myself big so you can see JoJo in the background. Hi, baby. I don't know if you could hear it. She just meowed very, very tiny. But something that I would really like to do is in June for Pride Month, and also because I'd like to offer merchandise that's not Womb World, because I know a lot of people don't want to wear a Womb World shirt out of their house. I think that it would be really fun to kind of take some submissions, get some ideas maybe from artists who watch my videos and who want to do this kind of thing, and sell like kind of funny, cheeky, gay t-shirts, and then all the money from that maybe have like 2 or 3 options, because really like it's on Bonfire, so there's not any overhead. We just have to finalize a design. I want to have a couple of options for like gay and like pride themed t-shirts, and then take all that money and send it to the Tuggle Shelby clinic that I worked with in Hot Springs, Arkansas for my video about the AIDS Angel and Ruthless and all of that. I think that's my next target after the abortion campaign. Is I would love to use Pride merch to donate money for the Tuggle Clinic. So that's where I'm at as of right now with with the whole campaign thing. Sorry, my throat is a little buggy. But thank you so much to everybody who has already ordered or who is planning on ordering. I know the shirts are a little bit expensive. I priced them at like $6 or $7 over the cost to make it, just because like it is a fundraiser and I didn't want to sell them right at cost. But also, if you don't have $25 for a t-shirt, I completely understand. No pressure, no worries. But that's what's going on with the t-shirts right now. We've raised over $100. So that's officially $1 at least for all of the funds included in that Act Blue, and hopefully much more. And now here's the episode we're watching. It's an hour and 20 minutes, which is longer than what we watched the other night by about 5 minutes, I think. We are once again, we're gonna go to 1.2 speed. We'll see if the ladies talk a little bit faster than the men do, but I feel like 1.2 speed will serve us well. And let me just make sure I got my audio on for this. All right. Cat enough is JoJo and my cats trying to communicate in Discord call. I compared that table with another podcast that I watched and I realized you're right, it is an extremely large table. It's a huge table. It is such a big table. All right. Okay. So, let me see. Okay. Yeah. We got 10 minutes until my alarm is going to go off for me to need to go switch over my laundry. So I feel like that's enough time. We can get started.
Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of Man Enough. We did it.
100.
And the only reason we were able to do it is because of the women that are sitting at this table with us right now. So if you're not watching and you're listening to...
Sorry, actually, I didn't go over the bingo card. We updated the bingo card. So These Violet Delights has been diligently updating the bingo card as we've been like throwing out new squares in the middle of stream. You can go to the link in the description and get your own card. It won't be the same as mine. It'll be like a randomized one. But I forgot to show you what we have here. So let me just hang on. I gotta make it bigger, but it's behind stuff. Okay, here we go. So, I've updated just a little bit. They're mostly the same, but we have some new ones. We've got enforcing gender roles, someone completely mogs Justin's feminist analysis, not listening to women, abuse of power. I added let her speak, which I'm not sure, as I've mentioned, since I'm not sure if Justin and Jamie will be here. I'm not sure if we're actually going to need this, but I thought what let her speak as a separate thing to not listening to women was good, because those are different things, I think. We've got Man Enough book plug. Another one that we added is multiple camera angles, because we've been noticing that there are a lot of camera angles all over in his appearances, in the podcast itself. This one here, Two Wings or Sacred Masculinity and Femininity, I'm leaving this one on until we get it, because we have heard this enough times that it makes sense to be a bingo square, but then it just hasn't quite popped up in any of the ones we've watched since we've been playing bingo. But I'm waiting for that. I think we'll get there. I think we might get there tonight. Natalism, which honestly, natalism and weird thought on men's emotions, these ones might as well be free spaces. I'm positive that these two are gonna get got tonight. Inappropriate touching, infantilizing women. Free is, of course, Womb World. We have Live, Laugh, Baha'i for when they go into little Baha'i propaganda drops, which I think is also very likely tonight. Pretty much a free square. Exploiting marginalized group. Keeping/holding space. This was a bingo card suggestion, and I think a really good one. They say that shit all the time. Justin makes something about himself. Life and death are the same. Valuing the son over the daughter. A weird comment about Emily. Anecdote about Justin Baldoni's father. A bunch of bullshit. What the fuck is Jamie Heath saying? Which I think is a really good one. I think that's even better than Jamie Heath jump scare. It says redefining masculinity, and Justin says something genuinely upsetting, trademark. I'm sorry, we were not lined up on the bottom there. But yeah, so that is my static bingo card that I'm working off of. You can get your own bingo card on Bingo Baker, and you can play along. And we can let each other know how we're doing, and I'll be stamping off bingos as we go here. I think we're gonna get a lot. I think obviously it does depend on how much Justin is actually here, but I think it's good. I think we're gonna get a lot. Part of me wanted book plug on there because it sounds like another kind of plug. I changed the player card to say a bunch of baloney instead of bullshit. Oh, that's wonderful. I actually love that. I love that a lot. All right. Oh, locked womb, obsessed. Yeah, we need a space for that low sexy voicemail voice. I love doing bingo. I think the bingos are really fun. I think I think this is a great way to research, and also, as I've said before, it's just much easier to get through this kind of thing with a crowd. So yeah, we have not yet started. I only have 5 minutes left on the timer until it goes off, and I need to run downstairs and change my stuff over to the dryer. So I kind of feel like we should just maybe shoot the shit for 5 minutes, and then I do that, and then we start when I come back, rather than stopping and starting. I think that's what we're gonna do. But so yeah, I'll make myself big again. Let's see if we can have a few minutes of JoJo time until my alarm goes off. I feel like that's a good compromise. Hi, JoJo. Will you come over here? Yes, you come see. Yeah. Baby cat, come see all our friends. Come and see all our friends. Come and say hello. Hi, baby. Will you say hi? Hi, baby. Go purr into the microphone again like you did the other night. Come this way. Hi. Thank you. Hi. You say hello? She is purring. She's just not doing it into the microphone again. And now she's trying to figure out her angle to jump down. Aw, JoJo. You leaving? Everybody wanted to see you. Everybody wanted to see you. This is what she wants, for the record. At all times, every day of her life, does my cat want this? If you have a cat and you don't have one of these cat dancer toys for them, you could spend like $2 right now and you could make your cat very, very happy, but also maybe obsessed with one of these. Maybe obsessed with one of these to the point where it's the only thing they ever want from you. It does, like, it makes it really easy to make it do, like, the motion of something flying. She loves this thing. She's really, really, really into it. And that's why she doesn't want to come over, is because she wants to go sit in front of this and purr in the hopes that I will do this. Even right now as I'm... Yeah, we gotta show him. Okay, so ignore the fact that I have grocery bags on my floor, okay? We're all friends here. I'm sorry for whatever the fuck that angle was. JoJo, get that. Get that, show down. Now she's not gonna do it. She was literally like just like on, there we go. That's what we wanna show him. Get it. Good job. Okay. That's her favorite toy. Maybe one day I can just set up where I just sit on the floor and play with this with her. Because I think we would have a lot of JoJo interaction in such a stream. But that is her favorite toy. And that's what she wants me to do for like 6 hours a day. I swear to God, we played with that toy for like an hour last night. She did not get bored. Hi, my favorite girl. She lets me love on her more often just in a ploy to get me to play with her with that than any other time in her entire life. That's her favorite toy. It's called a cat dancer. She's obsessed with it. I've bought her like 2 or 3 of them, because sometimes she will kill it enough to the point where there's no more cardboard on it. But I'm always Sunny, my friend Sunny, who made me my beautiful layout for my streams. Sunny just got a cat, and before Sunny got his cat, I was sending him links, and I was like, you need to get one of these cat dancer toys because I think any cat loves these. And it seems to be true. He said that it's his cat's favorite, which was very exciting to me. I love to be correct. Okay. Yeah, all right. It's done. Okay. All right. Hi, baby. Hi. You are so special. She's purring so loud. Can I move the microphone to her without it unplugging? That's the question. Let's see. Let's see. Can I pull this off? Are you purring very loud? Can you hear her? She should be loud. Purr right here. Yes, she's purring. Tell them. Tell them everything. Nope. Okay, that probably wasn't worth it. Sorry, I think it disconnected for a second as I was doing that, and you probably couldn't hear me as I was talking. And then now it probably sounds really weird as I'm getting it put back. The second half of this stream will be much more put together. But I hope you got to hear a little bit of JoJo purring. I will be right back. Thank you for hanging out and bearing with me. We will actually watch and do the bingo once I'm back. I just needed to hang out for 20 minutes first. Hi, sorry about that. If anybody joined while I was downstairs putting my laundry in, we have not started yet. I realized as I kept yapping and it kept getting like closer and closer to when I was going to need to switch over my laundry that it made more sense to just start once I got back. So, yeah, you are so cute. So we're gonna start finally. And thank you for your patience. Thank you for bearing with me. We're gonna get started finally. All right.
Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of Man Enough. We did it.
100.
And the only reason we were able to do it is because of the women that are sitting at this table with us right now. So if you're not watching and you're listening to this, I am joined by my wife, Emily.
And I am joined by my sweet, wonderful wife, Natasha.
He's always got to one-up me. Did you guys notice that? My sweet, wonderful wife.
Oh my gosh.
See, this is...
Not to be like a crazy killjoy feminist, but it is very interesting when sweet is the first word that is used to praise a woman, isn't it? Isn't it a little bit interesting that's like the positive trait, sweet and wonderful. It coming from somebody I didn't hate as much as I hate Jamie Heath, I might not be so immediately grossed out by a sweet and wonderful wife, but he might as well have she's submissive. There's also an episode with Natasha alone. So I guess they did probably Emily alone and then Natasha alone and then Emily and Natasha.
Why it's so good we do this show.
They need group therapy.
I think Justin and I, that's what we've learned. Because in my spirit, there was no one upping you, Jay. It was just, I looked at her and those are the words that came out of my mouth. So why did it become about you versus about her?
That's a great question. I guess I was feeling like I was insecure because I should have given my wife more adjectives.
Ooh, yeah, because we need more adjectives.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
So, but you know that.
Something really interesting about Justin Baldoni, I think, is that... Sorry, that was like a really loud mouth noise. But something really interesting, I think, about Justin Baldoni is I can never tell when he's doing an exaggerated bit of the kind of person he is to be funny and when he's serious. Because the thing is like that whole, I guess I was feeling insecure. I took that as a joke. I think they're joking around, but also that's exactly the fucking language that he uses when he thinks he's being serious and when he wants cookies for being such a vulnerable, emotional guy. Which is the same reason I also didn't immediately clock we were in these award-winning movies together as sarcasm the other night, because right, exactly, they're joking around, but he actually was insecure and he did actually call him out for the right thing. Yeah, it's weird. It's just again, I promise I'm not even it's not like I sit down and I'm like, I need to pause this 3 times before we're even 2 minutes in, but these episodes are so dense with just so much shit to comment on.
But I think you're sweet and wonderful too,
I do know that. I think that was very sweet how you introduced. Let's celebrate it.
Thank you. Congratulations.
You know what I think?
Congratulations.
Here's what I think.
What?
I think you and I should go have lunch. And I think that because we've done all these episodes and because this show has been about us being a work in progress and us learning in real time, our 100th episode should be the women of Man Enough, without the men.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Sounds
Hello,
great,
ladies.
but it makes me really nervous.
See you later.
Is that enough for a what the fuck is Jamie Heath doing? I think I'm gonna, especially if he's gonna leave, we're gonna, cause clearly they planned this ahead of time. So what the fuck is he saying about I don't know how I feel about that? Why even say that? Why not be like, I think it'll be great? What's the point of that? I'm doing it. First one. What the fuck is Jamie Heath saying? I think I would feel like I'm doing too much if I stamped infantilizing women, but a sweet, wonderful wife does feel so weird to me. I think is that what we've got so far is just a what the fuck is Jamie Heath doing? But this is so weird.
Later.
What does that mean? It means we're leaving?
That means like you and I are leaving. We're physically leaving.
Yeah.
We're not going to be listening.
Okay. You support this, Liz?
I wholly. I'm in. If Tasha and Emily want to do it.
Oh, we're in.
Let's there. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's go. Get out of here.
I love you too, Liz.
I love you more.
All right.
Being man enough, what does that mean?
It's really manly to mess up, admit you're wrong, and then grow.
I couldn't accept that I was evil. So maybe I'm broken. But those broken things could be corrected.
Intimacy between a father and a son is the neatest.
Does Jamie Heath call himself evil in the intro to Man Enough in the little supercut? What? Huh? I don't. Why would you put that up front? Like, what? How do you have any credibility if you are like front loading? I couldn't accept that I was evil. Huh? I need to know what the context is of him saying he couldn't accept that he was evil, but just putting that in your little reel in the beginning is wild to me. What the fuck? Let's just...
It's really manly to mess up, admit you're wrong, and then grow.
I couldn't accept that I was evil. So maybe I'm broken. But those broken things could be corrected.
Intimacy between a father and a son is me just wanting to like put my head at your lap. I love you, son.
Can we say that's a father anecdote? Can we call it? Because I don't know if we're gonna get it otherwise. I didn't know it was there. I think I'm gonna call that a father anecdote. I think him crying. I think him crying about wanting to put his head in his father's lap. I think we're gonna cross off dad anecdote. I think that has to happen. If we watch another episode and it's the same in the introduction, we won't use it again. But I'm crossing off father anecdote because I've been fucking waiting for it. Also, let me go ahead and just change this to a bunch of baloney because that's funnier. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. All right. I'm so fascinated by Justin's strange brand of daddy issues. Me too. There's an episode with his dad, and I want to watch that. I want to watch that on a stream. Not tonight, but I do want to watch that on stream at some point.
You haven't called me benevolent sexist, but my experience is women are better.
Even if it's a positive, it's still not equality.
I don't.
Hold on. We saw them have that exact conversation, but in different clothes with different words. That was different. Like, I don't think that was exactly the same clip as the other time that we saw him talk about benevolent sexism when he called it a wonderful new phrase he just learned. So maybe the episode that we watched, he was calling back to that. But that was a different clip, I think, than what we already saw, where they were having that exact same interaction. So it seems like Liz has tried to tell him that the way that he otherizes women as being better is bad multiple times. Yeah, welcome back. Benevolent sexism is good, actually. A wonderful new phrase he just learned. I think maybe it was oh, it was the same one. Okay, maybe they did only have that once. Emily is, but I'm talking about Liz. I don't think that this was the same Jamie Heath outfit, but I'm not. I could be wrong, but I think they might have had this conversation twice about benevolent sexism.
Is me just
It was definitely the same clip of Emily, because I think they've only had Emily on a handful of times, maybe just twice.
wanting to like put my head at your lap. I love you, son.
Did we put CW crying on here? That was one of the new squares, but I don't think I added it yet. Anyway, but this is what I mean. This I don't think that this was from that clip that we watched, but maybe it was. Because I think it cuts from something we haven't watched yet to something we did watch with Emily.
You haven't called me benevolent sexist, but my experience is women are better.
Even if it's a positive, it's still not equality.
I don't blame men for that. I just blame the system.
This
Is
Man enough. Welcome to Man Enough.
I would love for the housekeeper and the nanny to join this episode. Oh my god. I want to hear from that nanny so bad.
Thank you. I'm Liz Plank.
Oh, hi, and I'm Emily Baldoni.
And I'm Natasha Heath. Hi, welcome to our 100th episode.
Of Man Enough.
We made it. We really did it.
We did. We've done so well.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
truly, I couldn't have done this without you, because I know how much you put into your marriage. I know how much you put into your families and into your household. And I think that it's the invisible labor, right, that we've talked about when you graciously came on the show, that we often don't get to see. And so I know that, the only reason that Jamie and Justin were able to do 100 episodes is because of the two of you. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. And I also have to say that the two of them love and adore and admire you so much.
Yes.
And so do Natasha and I. And thank you for guiding them through 100 episodes and being the woman, being that voice.
voice.
Thank you for showing up for that
Yeah,
big
thank you
job.
for that.
In so many ways, not just here, but
Thank you for being the token woman. Thank you for endlessly forgiving our husbands when they say how terrible they are, but that they want to learn how to do better, so that I don't have to be here every week. So that I can be home while the nanny changes the diapers.
also definitely here with Justin and Jamie. So thank you.
Well, it's funny because I do feel like, well, obviously you've both been on, and I want to talk about that because especially Emily, you came on really in that first week of production of the show. So you were one of the first episodes, and here you are at the 100th episode. So I'm curious, sort of, how have you seen them grow or sort of change?
Oh, okay. So whoever was asking how much space there was between the episode we just watched and this one, Liz just said that Emily's episode was really early. Which, this was a year ago. I'm seeing that the one from Natasha was 2 years ago. So that makes sense.
In your own personal lives with them.
I have seen Justin grow in so many ways. We've both been on a really fast trajectory of healing and evolution, to use that like personal evolution. And
Healing?
he has changed so much in the last couple of years. And I feel like thanks to Man Enough, we also, that he brings home topics into our house and then we discuss it, or he prepares for an episode by discussing it with me. So I've really gotten to see how his thinking around things and his opinions around things.
Also, do you think we're going to get a Bechtel pass in this episode or not? I'm going to make the wild prediction here that the only possible way that we get a Bechtel pass in this episode is in the context of talking about women as mothers. Because they're all named women. So we've passed one part. They're all talking to each other. We've passed part 2. But are they going to talk to each other about something other than a man or like men? That's part 3. That's difficult. Can we pass that? Can we have a Bechtel pass on the Man Enough podcast? Is that going to happen? Lock in your predictions. Are we going to Bechtel pass, or are we going to Bechtel fail? What do we think? I think if we pass, it's only because they talk about having children. If the baby is a boy, that doesn't count. They both have boys. Emily had a girl first, and then when she had a boy, Justin told her she gets to be done. And then I know Natasha has a boy. I'm fairly certain it was a boy. Was it Breakwell? Was Breakwell the one who was born in the birthing video? I haven't looked into that deeply enough. Also, speaking of which, I guess for Mother's Day, they decided to inflict the video of Natasha giving birth onto the rest of the world and not just onto Blake Lively. And all of the Justin Baldoni fans are like, how was Blake Lively possibly uncomfortable about this? And I'm scrolling past it on Reddit and I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to look at this. I'm not at work. My boss isn't showing me this and I'm uncomfortable. I feel like I'm violating something. that's not for me to see. We're not, by the way, we are not going to watch the Natasha Heath giving birth video on stream. I'm not doing that to myself or to any of you. I would feel very weird about that. But you can find it if you wade into the hellish depths of the Team Justin Baldoni subreddit. You can see it, and what I saw when I looked at it, again, I didn't watch the whole thing because it made me uncomfortable. I don't want to watch anybody giving birth or just shortly after giving birth. I don't want to see it. I would like to not see it. But I did see Natasha naked in a water tub and her naked husband, Blake Lively's boss, behind her. So it's so weird that everybody is responding, and they're like, I saw one of the responses and they were like, this is so beautiful, and I'm so happy that they were able to reclaim it from what Blake was trying to do, which is wild, just wild. Also, Chris, if I'm drinking like a Coke variant, I like a cherry Coke, I like a vanilla Coke, but I normally go for just like a regular Coke. I think I like a vanilla Coke slightly more than a cherry Coke, but I do like them both. I'm a big Coke drinker. There are pictures of me when I was like a tiny little toddler, like too young. Like when I was like probably like 1 or 2 years old. There's a photo of me like drinking with a really big straw from like a 2 liter of Coke, which like I've joked before that like I never had like I was like born addicted to soda because like my parents never made any attempt at not just like having their toddler drink it all the time. So there are lots of childhood photos of me where I'm watching it now and I'm like, why was I drinking Coke? But then now as an adult, I have separation anxiety when I think about trying to stop drinking soda because I can't drink coffee anymore. I was a barista for a really long time, and then I ended up starting to have some stomach issues when I drink coffee. So I'm off coffee, and I need caffeine. Like my head is so much less functional without caffeine. So I end up pretty much like pounding a bunch of Cokes. And I've thought about like, maybe I should try to stop drinking Coke. And then I'm like, you know what? Few enough things in my life make me happy. I enjoy drinking soda. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Things are kind of molding and shifting and evolving, and in short, he has really come home to himself.
Wow.
And it's really, really beautiful to witness.
And is there a specific example of a moment that you were like, oh, this is different?
I mean, there are so many things, but I would say that the biggest thing is that he's able to lean into the role of husband and father in a very different way. I know he has always loved that role as my husband and as a father, but in our very patriarchal culture, there is such a pull to just be out there and create and do and achieve and be better and be bigger and all of the things. And I think it's very easy to get into that pattern of prioritizing that, because that means that he comes home and he provides for the family in a good old-fashioned way, right? By bringing home the bacon and doing the work out there. And I see him now leaning in so much more into the sweetness and the joy of being home, of being with me, being with our children. And when he's able to calm down in that sense, he's able to also really listen and really see things that are needed. Like his intuition with the kids is getting stronger.
Just pausing to note here that I find it interesting how she doesn't seem to be super into him, like wanting to be out there all the time. I wonder how she feels about the fact that he went out there and he made his big second movie or whatever and was sexually harassing Blake Lively on the set of it. I wonder if she was hoping that he would have just been staying home with her during that time. I wonder if that's part of his big ambitions that are so off-putting to Emily, that she wants him to lean more into staying home, is because part of his ambitions is going and being fucking creepy on a film set. You know? I just don't know.
His intuition kind of kicks in before mine does at times, and he knows what's right to do in a moment. So I think that's what I mean by a coming home to himself. He's slowing down. Yeah. He's finally slowing down a little bit, and it's really beautiful to witness.
I love that. Tasha, does anything come to mind for you?
Yeah, absolutely. The word that comes to mind with Jamie in the last, has it been a year, 2 years?
2
What's-
years,
2 years,
2.5,
wow,
yeah.
is like a softening.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a woman constantly trying to convince herself she wanted this life. That's, yeah. It's bleak. It's bleak.
And there's
Also, Emily's accent is Swedish, I believe.
a specific example I can give. He tends to give love in like, quote unquote, tough love, you know, with like a coach, like, come on, you got this, you can do this, you know, that can be his energy sometimes. And I know a lot of people respond to that.
She's pretty, by the way. I've never seen Natasha before, other than in the birth video that I quickly scrolled past because I didn't want to see her in that context. She is pretty. She's a pretty lady.
But I don't. And we have kind of like bumped heads where he's tried to encourage me through life or in a situation or in a moment, and I just can't hear that.
Yeah.
And he kind of is like, what do you mean? I'm like giving you the best that I've got, and I'm like, that doesn't work for me. And, you know, something that I'm working through in motherhood is, you know, sometimes I can come off with like an irritable tone or a snappy tone, and I'm really trying to change that automatic like response with my children that I know that was learned or passed down or what I experienced, right? I'm working on that. And at times, you know, before in the past, before the podcast, you know, he would bring it to my attention in a way that was hard for me to hear, that made me feel defensive. And just recently it happened, but he did it in such a way that was soft and loving, and, you know, like, I'm on your side. And it was easy for me to hear, like, hey babe, did you hear that? Did you notice that moment? Instead of like, hey babe, we shouldn't be talking to kids like that. And so I just feel like there's a softening happening of, like, you know, we talk about love languages, like, you learn what your partner needs, not just how you give love, but how they receive it. And I feel like he's making adjustments when it comes to like hard conversations. To
He's doing a better job at scolding her. Am I hearing this right, or am I being very ungenerous? Because what I'm hearing is that he's like policing her, or like, just that he's not doing it less, but that he's finding a more gentle way to do it. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like this at all. I don't like the way that these women talk about their relationships with their husbands. I don't feel like these women speak about their relationships with their husbands in such a way that makes me feel like they are an equal in their marriage. And that's not like a blanket way that I feel most of the time somebody talks about their husband. Like, I don't always feel like, oh, if you're saying husband, you're speaking like you're subservient to her, but like it kind of sounds like, oh, he got better at being a little bit gentler when he corrects me when he thinks I'm doing something wrong, and not like he got better at backing the fuck off and letting me raise our children, or he got better at listening to me, he got better at doing the laundry. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like this. I think he wants her to change her tone with their kids, so it could be fine if they both agreed to it. Okay. I also wonder, though, if it's like, if he's saying talk like a lady in front of the children or whatever. I would really, yeah, exactly. They never get specific with their stories. I want the full context. Me too. Like, I think I always end up saying, like, can you please say more every time we're on one of these streams, because it's never quite enough information to go off of, but it's just enough that they get to stroke their own egos as if they've, like, been vulnerable. Feminism is when men can use it to criticize their wives better. We need specific details, I think, because I don't trust Jamie either. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they literally just yap and never elaborate. One thing I found interesting in Baha'i is couples have to mutually agree on birth control, and they regard it as equality. They set these women up to be manipulated with words. Yeah. Heath gives me vibes that he wants me to make myself small, that make me want to make myself smaller. I think so too. Yeah, I I think he would be a difficult guy to be married to. And I think the best thing somebody can say about the way that he's grown and changed in the last year being he's nicer when he tells me how to mother our children. That's rough. That's bleak.
Give me what I need when things get hard. Like, I need softness. I need real tenderness when things get uncomfortable. And I feel like he's showing up in that way.
Yeah, I do think that we choose partners that have lessons for us, right? And if you're lucky, right? And it seems like in both your cases, they obviously learned a lot from you. And through this podcast, you have been top of mind for them all of the time, right? They bring you up.
We choose partners that have lessons for us. I really don't like that. I don't like that. That's so weird. You don't just like, you don't, first of all, like, I don't like Liz. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. I don't like Liz. I think Liz is full of shit. I don't think Liz ever knows what she's saying. And I think that there is no understanding of like abuse dynamics that allow you to run your mouth and say shit. Like, we choose partners who have lessons for us. I don't think somebody who has like known a person who has been domestically abused would say that. I really don't like that. We choose partners who have lessons for us. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. We choose partners who should treat us well because we're people, and we should treat our partners well, and relationships should be two people who are like fully formed human beings, and if you grow together, that's great, but like, it is not your job to help somebody grow. It's not somebody else's job to help you grow. You don't need to stick around and learn a lesson from a shitty partner. You can learn lessons from being alone. I just really hate that. I don't like that. I think we need to read Liz's book. Oh, trash. I'm picking up Liz's book at the library tomorrow, so soon we'll find out if she's full of shit. Perfect. Wavelength. Absolute wavelength. My view is Liz makes feminism her brand but doesn't walk the walk. I agree. I mean, I think also even just the fact that her fucking book is called For the Love of Men or whatever, I already dislike that a lot. But, yeah. I know we had to give her the Mog the other night because the bar is so low, but I don't trust her. I don't like her. I think it's decent that she left the Man Enough podcast, but she apparently still follows the guys on social media apparently. I don't like it. I don't trust her. I think she's like a patriarchy double agent. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Also, yes, she is Baha'i. Did we have antithetical to feminism? That was a square, but I don't think we put it on this one. It is one of the new squares, but I don't think I put it. But maybe we should have changed the Mog for antithetical to feminism. But yeah, I just can't let somebody say we choose partners who have lessons for us, and let that go unmentioned. Also, full credit where it's due. The only reason that I know that Liz Plank is Baha'i is because of Kat Tenbarge, and Kat Tenbarge like paid for access to Liz's like Substack or something because there was posts there about it. So I know Liz is Baha'i because of Kat Tenbarge, because Kat is a great journalist. But she is Baha'i. She was like raised in it apparently, which I don't know how she ended up getting involved in this podcast. I don't know if it's through being Baha'i. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, as far as I know, she was raised in it, which I think also makes sense why it's kind of hard for her to get out of it exactly. But I also don't love people who pretend like they're feminists without needing to actually examine what that means and then brand themselves on something they call feminism that actually hurts feminism, which seems to be what I think any woman who was on 100+ episodes of Man Enough would have been doing. I think Liz Plank has been laundering a lot of really harmful bullshit, and I thought that the extent to which she was laundering it was just by sitting there and kind of like being the token girl. But I think she's laundering it in more pernicious ways than that if she's saying shit like that you pick partners because they have lessons for you.
Constantly, and I think are reflecting, even when when you're not being brought up, they are reflecting about their marriages and about their relationships with you constantly. And so it's great to see them evolve in that way. And do you feel like you've also evolved in a certain way? Like, there's a lot of content out there right now. Like, if you want to know why marriage is bad for women, there's a lot of, I mean, on TV and in movies, not necessarily, but in terms of, social media, and I think where there's a lot of, data and a lot of young women who are reluctant to get married, reluctant to have kids. I still don't know if I want to have kids, a little bit for this reason where we're still living in a very unfair society to mothers.
Hey. Okay. I'm interested to hear Liz say outright that she's not sure she wants to have kids. I wasn't sure if that was allowed, to be quite honest. So that is interesting. But also maybe she's allowed to say that because she's not married? Is it true that she's not married? I'm pulling that out of nowhere, but I feel like I would have heard about it by now if she had a husband. I also feel like they would have felt weird about sitting down with another man's husband, so they probably wouldn't have picked a married woman. Liz Plank is single, right? I'm just gonna Google. I'm just checking. Yeah, I think she is. 3 months ago, she posted a birthday post for a friend of hers and said, "Happy birthday to the friend I will forever have wife allegations with." But that's just another layer to I don't think that bisexual people are stealing valor when they use partner, but I do not like it when straight women use girlfriend, and I especially don't like using wife jokingly. But no, I think she's not married. I think she's single. They do allow pregnancy to be voluntary, but still regard it sacred duty. Like I said, they manipulate with the way they word things and are very careful about semantics of equality and choice. Mm-hmm.
And not just in, the day-to-day stuff or interpersonally, but like it's institutionalized. Like, I think hatred of mothers literally is institutionalized in our policies. But that being said, are there things that women can do in their...
And women in general also are hated in policies, and that's institutionalized? Are we ever going to mention that? Or is the idea that women who don't have children are above... I think I just figured it out. I think I just figured something out. I think the hierarchy here, if you'll walk with me for a second, I think the hierarchy here that the Man Enough people operate with for like positions of privilege in the world, because think about it. We've heard Jamie Heath literally say, like, if men are on the bottom... they literally think men are disprivileged because they think men are harmed by the patriarchy. I think that the agreement here is that, like, men are harmed by the patriarchy and then mothers are harmed by the patriarchy, or mothers maybe are harmed more, but probably under men, because it is the Man Enough podcast. And then that, like, as a completely separate thing from the way that both women and trans people are harmed by the patriarchy, like you have instead people who are not mothers, who are women, at the top of their, like, imaginary privilege here. It's really weird. Because as we've discussed on stream before, like, yes, mothers do need more support, parents do need more support, but also it's just bizarre that they never bother going into any specifics about the ways that a woman might be harmed for anything other than being inadequately appreciated as a mother, right? I have yet to hear any specifics for anything other than like specifically that mothers are inadequately valorized. So I really think that they believe that like the structure of society right now has like single women on top and then men and then mothers. I think that that is the thesis of Man Enough. I'm pretty sure that's their understanding of like intersectionality. Man-tersectionality, if you will. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know why that's what made that click for me, but I'm pretty sure that that's what's going on here.
Their relationships or in their families. Not that it's their job to fix society and to fix this bias against mothers, but are there things that you have done in your marriage that have made marriage work for you?
I feel what comes to mind right away is learning to take up space.
Ah! Right away it came to mind for you. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you very much, Natasha. I'm putting that holding space. I'm doing it. That was it. That was immediate. That was right away. It was right away. Okay. Should we do natalism too while we're here? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do natalism. Okay. All right. I think this is it so far. Yeah, I think this is it so far. But I'm sure we'll get more. She got us there so fast.
And know that it's okay to do it in a way that doesn't feel like I'm undeserving of it, because I feel like we're bringing so much and carrying so much of that as women, like be little, be small, be quiet. I know that I brought in that baggage with me in marriage. Not that Jamie brought it in, I brought it in as a woman in our society with my, history and my ancestors and whatever. Mm-hmm. That we have to know and understand that it's okay to speak up, that I'm not going to die if I speak up, that my husband's not going to, you know what I mean? And
going to leave you, right?
He's not going to leave, it's okay for things to be, it's okay to say something uncomfortable. It's okay to make your partner uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking of a great friend that learned from someone else. Discomfort does not mean disunity. Mm-hmm. It's okay, like we're humans, we're messy, we're going to bump heads. Like it's okay for things to get uncomfortable. It doesn't mean the relationship is over. It doesn't mean someone's going to walk out the door. It just means, okay, we got to breathe through it. We might have a day or two of discomfort, and then we just got to like sit with those feelings, and then we come back and we adjust, hopefully. Hopefully we find partners that are willing to adjust and be uncomfortable, right? Like number one, find a partner that's willing to do the work and right. And then luckily when you're with a partner like that, and I definitely have a partner that's like that, I had to learn throughout the years it's okay to say something that I know might ruffle his feathers and might make him defensive but to still speak my truth, and to say it in a way that's kind and grounded and not hysterical or exaggerated. I had to learn how to say it. Not only did I have to be brave enough to say it, I had to learn how to say it.
And how do you say it?
I don't tiptoe around the thing I want to say anymore. Like, maybe we could kind of, sort of, I don't know, maybe, huh? Like all that language we use instead of being like, I'm really feeling overwhelmed. Like just the other day, I was like, ooh, I'm feeling overwhelmed. The house is just kind of, like boxes were everywhere, we're spring cleaning. I was just feeling overwhelmed. And I was able to just say, ooh, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed because the boxes are everywhere. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm fine. Nothing, what's wrong? Nothing, I'm fine.
Right.
Like not to hide real, true feelings, big or little. Just like take up space.
Yeah.
Men do it all the time. My husband has no problem saying what he's feeling when he's feeling it. And he doesn't, and I don't feel defensive, and I used to get defensive, not anymore. That's my journey. But, just taking up space and not being afraid to take up space.
I love that so much.
But she didn't say that. She said, I'm overwhelmed and can you help? Can you do something? She just said that she was able to like voice what was wrong. You know what I mean? Like it's not like she said, hey, I'm overwhelmed. Maybe she did, but that's not the story that she told. The story that she told is that like the version of herself that is taking up space is able to name a problem, but like not even necessarily that she gets help with it, or that or anything. That's sad. That's sad. The way that she like down talked, the way that she might have previously responded to that is sad. I also caught hysterical. I don't like that. That sounds like a very sad like relationship to be in, where that's like something you're just learning. And also I don't believe her. I'm sorry, not to disbelieve a woman. I don't believe her when she says that Jamie didn't bring any baggage into their relationship. I think Jamie proves on his podcast Man Enough that he has weird baggage about women. I think Jamie proved in the actions that are in the complaint from Blake Lively's experience on the set that he was like a producer on, that he has baggage and ideas about women. Like, I know that she felt like she had to say, and of course my husband's not sexist, basically, but no, girl, we know who your husband is. He had baggage. It's not all your fault that you had and also, like, I feel like I would be interested to know if Natasha would also explain, like, a very difficult first year or so, compared to the way that Emily does, because Emily talked about, like, not even having a honeymoon phase, and I think Justin said that too. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it. He literally said he's evil. Right? We need to start pulling that out the way that they pull bullshit out against Blake Lively. Like, I'm sorry, Jamie Heath has literally admitted that he's evil. And he was so proud of that they put it in the supercut at the beginning of their fucking podcast. But no, I'm crazy for saying that I believe that he made Blake Lively and Jenny Slate uncomfortable.
And it makes me think of, because we talk about just like say the truth and show up as you. And what does that require, right? Just to take it a little bit deeper, is that goes back to how honest you are with yourself and the work that we do on ourselves. That's something that's been major for me and Justin that has helped our marriage in so many ways, is that I've done my work on me and he's been doing his work on him, and it's very deep. It can get very, very challenging, but in that work, I can actually figure out who the hell I am, so that in a moment when I need to speak my truth, I know what that truth is. Yeah. And because I know that it's coming from a deep core place that feels truthful to me, it's a little bit easier not to apologize for it. It's a little bit easier to take up that space because it matters, and I know it's coming from my soul. So I think it's that whole thing of know thyself, right? Why does it say know thyself on so many temples around the world? Because the greatest medicine is for us to know ourselves.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Do you know why I paused yet, chat? Do you know what square that was? Do you know that square that was when she made a vague religious reference and then said so many temples all over the world? Do we know what square that is? I wanna wait and see. I wanna wait and see if anybody says it in chat, because I know what square I think that is. Correct, my lady. You were fast. That's Live Laugh Baha'i. That is Live Laugh Baha'i. Any comment that they make, and they make so many where they're like, and by the way, every religion agrees with me about this, in case you were wondering, all of them, and you can agree with all religions at the low cost of joining the Baha'i temple. That was Live Laugh Baha'i. A vague religious platitude, and we all agree with this. That's absolutely Live Laugh Baha'i. Yes, yeah, Baha'i. There's lots of overlap, I feel like, with the Mormon and the Baha'i. Also, thank you so much for this super chat. When my friend Kaya was telling me about like the Mormon implications for Breaking Dawn, and we were talking about how a lot of the Mormon canon is like going back and trying to make it make sense, basically, that like Mormonism in theory like could have always existed from earlier than it was actually like invented and founded. I feel like I've seen a lot of similar things going on with Baha'i, where they also are kind of like borrowing the credibility of things that have been around for longer. Yeah, they do love a deep sounding cliche or aphorism. started streaming 69 minutes ago. Nice. I'm not like a big religion knower, but I feel like spend lots of time gazing at your navel is not a big part of most of them, right? Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed the Twilight video. That one was really fun to work on.
In like the deepest layers of ourselves, because then we can show up authentically. And Justin and I, we always talk about that the best form of activism is self-activism.
What?
Fight for yourself.
What? I think that says so much about his feminism, if his feminism is self-activism. I'm sorry. Full screen for this, just because I'm mad. While doing things to take care of yourself can be like an act of resistance and an act of rebellion and can like help to nurture yourself, I hate the best kind of activism is self-activism. And I also think that understanding Justin Baldoni's feminism as a form of self-activism, as something that he is doing that is standing up for himself and not for women and marginalized people, that makes so much sense. Of course Justin always says that. I am so unsurprised. I would say that while my feminism like informs ways that might make it easier for me to stand up for myself as a woman, and especially as a lesbian woman, my feminism is not self-activism. It is actually directed about other people who are not me, as activism should be. I know I got mad and I interrupted. She's probably going to keep going. It probably won't be as bad, but just still, I don't like that. I don't like that, especially when he's branding himself as like the man enough male feminist.
Figure out who you are. Do the work. Like really do the work and go deep, and then you can show up in the world with all of your gifts, because they're endless once you connect to that place. So be
navel gazing to navel to gaze. Is this him coming out of strength? I was gonna say I wish, but I would not like that actually. Keep him away from us. Activism is for a collective. It can include you, but if you have to make it about you to care for about other people, that's shitty. I completely agree. I completely agree. Yes. Can this count as Justin says something genuinely upsetting? You know what? I say yes, especially because he's not physically here. I think we're gonna say that. I think we're gonna say it counts as something genuinely upsetting. The genuinely upsetting square was added, I think, as a result of him saying, "Baby, you get to be done," when we watched the gender reveal video after they were realizing that they were gonna have a boy. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Because sometimes he will say something that makes me really genuinely upset. And you know what? I think honestly, if something Justin said or something that was relayed that Justin said made me mad enough to full screen rant, I think that does count as a genuinely upsetting. So let's take quick stock here. We are waiting for okay, so we've got a bunch of baloney still, which I feel like we probably could have checked off by now, but we'll wait for it. Redefining masculinity. We're still waiting for redefining masculinity. I think we can get there, though. Weird comment about Emily. We'll see. Values son over daughter. So, okay, if we get abuse of power, values son over daughter, and redefining masculinity, that will be a bingo. Redefining masculinity and another big rant that is a bunch of baloney, that will be a bingo. We've got a lot to fill in up here, but let's continue.
Be curious about yourself and do the work, and then dare to take up that space.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I love that so much.
Can we double stamp for taking space? I'm gonna double stamp for taking space, to be quite honest with you. We're gonna have twin wombs over here because we got one from Emily and we got one from Natasha. we got 2 stamps on taking up space because Natasha started with it and then Emily ended with it. We will continue. We can continue adding more stamps the more times they say taking up space.
It's such a lesson that I've been that I'm still learning. Mel Roberts, she has this idea of let them let you down, let them be mad at you, let them be disappointed. That I think for a lot of people, but I think women have a tendency to go into this where we contort ourselves so that we don't get abandoned. and again, that abandonment in some cases is true. And I feel like I lost a lot of time in dead end relationships or in relationships that were clearly no longer serving us and me. But thinking, not revealing truly who I am, not letting men let me down. I became really good at that. And again, I think women can become so good at it that they don't know that they're doing it because it's almost second nature.
And survival.
Yes, survival, to want to preserve the relationship over preserving yourself.
I mean, I think we learned that when we're little, right? And back then, it really...
Just a refusal to ever acknowledge that there are other ways in which a woman might be in a survival situation in a relationship. It feels like such a glaring omission every time they talk about anything that there is literally never a willingness to examine that relationships might genuinely be actually bad. I mean, I guess in this context, they're talking specifically about their own relationships, but again, having a woo-woo, oh, you actually just picked because we're picking people who have lessons for us, and you're meant to have this kind of struggle because it'll teach you how to be a better person. And you're in survival mode because you don't want to be abandoned. Some people are in survival mode for reasons that go a bit beyond just a fear of abandonment and taking up space. But to admit that would be to admit that people, and men especially under the patriarchy, are more dangerous to women than the Man Enough podcast is ever willing to admit.
They felt like it was going to save our life. We mold and we contort ourselves to be this perfect little something so that people stick around because the adults are our survival, right? So we had to get really good at that. And then we bring that with us into adult life. And it's just, we're wired for that. We're wired to fit in and make everybody else comfortable and happy. And I think we've actually forgotten who we are. I think we've forgotten how to just be free and not feel like we have to protect ourselves because of the society and the world that we grew up in.
Yeah, Jamie and I were just talking about this, how when he first met me, he would notice that I would be in a group, even a group of women, and I would sit back and kind of just be observant and listen, and I wouldn't chime in. But he knew me. He was like, "Why you have so much to say and offer? Why do you get so laid back and quiet?" And it just became a default for me. I never took the time. I realized when I reflected on that, when he asked me, I realized I don't bother to ask myself when I'm in a setting like that, what do I think about what everyone's talking about? What do I have to say? Do I have anything to contribute? I would just shut off.
Interesting.
I would literally just shut off and become an observer. And that had been years of me doing that. And I think with work and, growth and parenting and marriage, you grow and now I take the time to sit and to know myself. What do I like? What do I think about this topic? I take the time to pause and actually ask myself, what do I think about this topic right now?
Yeah. This is where men can be such great teachers in our lives, and vice versa, right? That traditional masculine and traditional feminine, characteristics, right, are the ones we've been really pushed towards in our society and in our culture. And men have so much to learn from women when it comes to emotional connection to oneself, relationships with others, and sort of nurturance, right? But women have so much to learn around confidence and right, being more assertive. And I remember being in a relationship with this guy, and I wouldn't even, if someone didn't reply to...
Do we want that as gender roles, chat? Is that gender roles, do you think? I kind of understand what she's saying, though. But also it is very, all men are this way, all women are this way. Men went to Jupiter to get more stupider, and women went to college to get more knowledge, and therefore they can learn a lot from each other. And I'm very wise for saying this. It's not that one is better than the other one. It's just that one went to college to get more knowledge and one went to Jupiter to get more stupider. So they need to learn from each other. All right, we're gonna do gender roles for that one. I still think we're gonna get two wings or sacred masculinity and femininity, but we haven't gotten sacred yet. We've just gotten traditional. Okay, all right.
My email, and it was like the most important email of my life. I was like, I would not follow up. I was like, oh, they don't want to talk to me. They don't want to. No, oh, I bothered them. Oh God. And I remember him being like, I follow up.
Not following up on the most important email of your life is not just like a woman thing. That's a skill you need to learn to do. Even if you're a woman, even if you're non-binary. I also don't think all men are automatically no to follow up, because the amount of men that I've had to follow up with tells me that men don't follow up, actually.
Up like 14 times. And then like, that's why I got this thing, and that's why I got that thing. And, you know, people are just busy. Like,
No apologies.
Yes, no apologies. And they don't personalize things in the way that we do, right? Again, we're super generalizing here. There are women who don't do that, and there are men who do that. Sure. But yeah, I think across the board, I think that that's one of the coolest things about, I think, heterosexual relationships or friendships, right? Just relationships between men and women where...
I'm sorry, I at least appreciate that she's not trying to be like, and relationships between anyone, like they kept doing last night and trying to make things more gender neutral when they weren't. But the coolest thing about heterosexual relationships is a little bit funny. I'm sorry. No hate to the heterosexuals. I'm sure there are like at least 3 of you out there watching my channel. I love you. The coolest thing about heterosexual relationships is funny. That's always going to make me snicker a little bit. Okay.
Do that. Sure. But yeah, I think across the board, I think that that's one of the coolest things about, I think, heterosexual relationships or friendships, right? Just relationships between men and women where, you know, and I do think there's a happy medium where we all kind of not live in the center, but kind of get to exist not in those polarities, you know, where there are so many things that are amazing about being a woman in our society. But I feel like there's a certain...
Name one right now, Liz. Name... Say a little more. Say a little more about anything. What are the amazing things about being a woman in our society? Are you talking about like free drinks at ladies' nights at bars because you're the product? Are you talking about men holding the door open for you so that they can touch your ass on the way past? Like what amazing things about being a woman in our society? Again, remember what I said earlier where I said that they think that women are at the top of society. Is she expecting men to like appreciate and agree with the fact that there are so many amazing things about being a man in our society? Because men have so many more fucking perks in our society than women do. There are amazing things about being a man in this society. Walking outside at night and not being scared, for example. Is that an amazing thing about being a woman, Liz Plank? Is it amazing? Like what? Tell me anything. Tell me that you have ever thought about anything other than men in your entire life, Liz Plank. Can you please? Can you do that? And also, like, the way she just was, like, even, and again, I'm being so picky, but, like, she's saying that's an amazing thing about relationships, heterosexual friendships, too. But, like, I learned so much from the women in my life. And this is an episode where they're supposed to be doing woman enough. I just feel like there's no, like, you don't have to have, like, a cross-gender friendship to learn something from the other person. I learn things all the time, every day, from people who have very similar experiences of gender to me and people who have different experiences of gender to me. Like, you don't need to go get a cross-section. You can learn from different people because people are different from you. People had different experiences from you. And, like, whether or not they got the magical man juice or the magical lady sprinkles does not mean that they have more to offer you. It's just so weird. You should add forgetting about gay people to the next bingo. That's an amazing suggestion. I think so too. Yeah, what's the thesis of this? Well, the thesis of the talk, I guess, is just them talking about their husbands. But like, God, it would have been cool if they would have like spoken about women, since the podcast is about men. Like that would have actually been an interesting divergence, but they didn't do that. It's also surface level, like a teenager's first deep thoughts. Like, please just think a little deeper and read a book about it and broaden your thoughts just a little before you start a podcast. Exactly. Yes. It's instructive is a sad best thing to find in a relationship. I agree. The greatest amount of diversity in these people's relationships seems to be that some are men and some are women. Exactly. Just having a diverse group of friends also helps. How about interracial relationships? Wife enough / mother enough. I put Liz mentions the gays and it's fighting with forgetting gay people exist in my mind. They're both very good.
Kind of characteristic that was like pushed down our throats, and being in true authentic relationships with men has helped me kind of like women in our society exist not in those polarities, you know, where there are so many things that are amazing about being a woman in our society, but I feel like there's a certain kind of characteristic that was like pushed down our throats, and being in true authentic relationships with men has helped me kind of get more into balance, I guess. But okay, so we didn't,
Yes.
I totally am mesmerized
Yes.
by both of you, and I forgot to ask our first question, which is, when was the last time that you didn't feel enough?
19 minutes in and they ask the first question. And I guess this is the first question every time is, when is the last time that you didn't feel enough? Belatedly remembering queer people is a really good way to phrase it. maybe forgetting gay people exist is one, and then on another card we have belatedly remembering queer people. Mesmerized, is she flirting? But yeah, okay, so this is the first question, I guess, on every episode of Man Enough is, when's the last time you didn't feel enough? Which is a poor way to phrase the question of when's the last time you didn't feel like you were enough? Because feel enough is kind of a different thing, right? But that is their opening question on everything. Which is like a weird leading question, I feel like. It really has it's like I said, it's a leading question, and it sets the tone for like what a self-pitying show Man Enough is. Actually, you know what? Chat, when's the last time you felt like you were enough? Wouldn't that have been a better question, right? It would have been a more positive, it's man enough. Why wouldn't they be like, when's the last time you felt like you were man enough? Why would they say, when's the last time you didn't feel like you were enough? Like, I feel like I remember getting that kind of question in like Wednesday night youth group as a teenager, where they would be like asking you, they would ask you to share something like really vulnerable and deep, but also like that would be so hard to even quantify. Asking like, when's the last time you didn't feel like you were enough? Like, how is somebody even supposed to answer that? I would bet that more often than not that the response that they get is, oh, all the time. I constantly feel like I'm not enough. And it would be interesting because, you know what, like if I were to be asked, like if I were to be asked that question right now, I think I would be kind of, I would brush it off. I would be like, I don't think anybody is not enough. I think I am enough. I don't think that it is helpful to focus on times when I might not have felt enough, because I know that I am enough. But I doubt anybody has answered the question that way. I doubt that they've had a woman on Man Enough who hasn't just taken the bait of like, I never feel like I'm enough. And like asking, do you feel like you're not enough? Kind of feels like you're asking somebody to identify a little Baha'i God-shaped hole in their life, right? Like, it's not a useful question. It doesn't really help anybody like understand the person more. It just offers a chance for self-flagellation. But also it sets you up to be thinking about how you need a bigger, grander purpose, like their religion. I think my laundry might be done. What time did I start that even? I thought I was going to get a notification on my phone because I got a notification when the wash was done. I think... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I changed it over at 8:47. Jesus, I did? We've been here a while. But, yeah, I think I need to grab my clothes from the dryer downstairs just in case anybody else is waiting for it. Because it's definitely been longer than the 45 minutes that it takes. But I do want to keep going. We have not gotten very far into this. We're 20 minutes and the first question in. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. We'll see how they answer. I'm sure that the way that they answer will be very, very minimizing and as if it's normal and good to not feel like you're enough all the time, or just self-pitying about that. But my answer would be I am enough, and it doesn't matter if I haven't felt that way, because it's true that I am. And I'm gonna grab my laundry. We're gonna it's a laundry enough stream. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna put something on the screen, just because when I was getting my laundry earlier, I was feeling like, oh god, this is gonna be so annoying if somebody comes in and they're like, why is it just frozen? So we're just gonna... Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry, I'm audio only. I'll say something before I go. Okay. Okay. There we go. Keep an eye on everyone while I'm gone. It's the laundry enough stream with Okie Dokie. I will be right back. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. I have my laundry. I don't need to leave again. I am back. Let me just, when my neighbor interrupted my laundry cycle last weekend and I was an hour late finishing my laundry, I did not feel laundry enough. Rough. I'm so sorry. I actually washed some bras this weekend, still not laundry enough. So I have a clean set of, I have a clean set of sheets that I'm gonna put on my bed, even though I didn't wash my sheets this time. I just did a load of only clothes, but I'm gonna change my sheets tonight after I finish streaming so that I have clean sheets. And with the exception of my new sheets and one big sweater and what I'm wearing right now, all of my clothes will be clean. I am laundry enough. I am laundry enough. I have like my big long yellow sweater that I don't really need to wash because I'm not going to be wearing it anytime soon, but that I do want to wash before next fall, and then maybe some blankets I'll do next time. But I'm laundry enough for tonight. All right, let's hear when the last time is that these ladies didn't feel enough.
Sitting down into this chair.
Ditto.
But for real, like I have.
Did I call it? Did I call it or did I call it? Is that not like did I not say it was gonna be like exactly right away? Huh. I know these women. I know these women more than their husbands know them, unfortunately.
This annoying little editor. I was gonna say a bad word, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Say it.
But this little thing sitting here, just like, oh, you're gonna fail.
Oh, she just ignored Liz trying to get her to say a bad word. What was she gonna say? Was she gonna say bitch?
I have this annoying little editor. I was gonna say a bad word, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Say it.
But this little thing sitting here, just like, oh, you're gonna fail. You're not gonna do enough. You're not going to be enough. You're not going to be smart enough. The inspiration is not going to come through you. You're not going to have any, you get the drill. It's just like, it just sits there. And its voice is getting quieter and quieter because I am doing the work. So I know where it's coming.
These Violet Delights, can we get a doing the work square? I think we need a doing the work square on future cards. Also, just because it is laundry night and just because I am laundry enough, I showed you one of my other favorite t-shirts the other night on stream. I showed you my Reagan t-shirt. I need to show you this one as well that I have, and that I don't film in, but that I do have, and that I think I probably could get away with filming in if I really wanted to. I do have, I hope this is lined up. I can't really see because it's in front of my face. But I do have a claims to be pro-life, dies anyway shirt. I love this shirt. I have opened the door for pest control in this shirt without really thinking about it a couple times. And the Reagan one too, to be honest, which is always fun. Those are probably two of my favorite shirts I own. The Womb World one will be challenging that soon. But as I'm sitting here folding laundry, I just wanted to show it off. Okay.
From, and I've learned to love this little alien sitting here because it's not going to go away in any other way but me loving it so hard. So I know where it's coming from. And then I have another little angel sitting on this other shoulder saying, hey, you got this. You have something to add. Just do it. It'll come. So yeah, just when I sat down here, that nagging thought of, ooh, I may not be enough today was here. Very present.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I'm glad the angel was louder.
Yes. Me too.
Pretty much the same, but I'll share 2 days ago. It was the night I came home and I was just kind of agitated the boxes and I was just overwhelmed. Jamie,
the boxes again, girl.
It's a beautiful gift he has. That he can just look at me for a millisecond and know that I'm off. Like, are you good? And almost before I even before I know that I'm a little off, he's like, you okay? He can just read me real quick. And I'm like, I don't know, I feel agitated. And I felt bad for being agitated. But I know we're human and I know we have those moments. And, I just felt bad about myself in that moment. And not that he just noticed it. right? He didn't say like, well, you shouldn't be, or why, you know, he didn't say anything badly about it, but it was just the fact that I was like, I felt naked, like, oh man, I'm having a human moment and you're noticing it, and I'm being annoying and agitated and I don't know how to get out of it. And just after that moment, I was like, dang, I wasn't a perfect little person in that moment. Which is so ridiculous, and I'm really working on that, of like having.
Should we do an infantilizing women square for I wasn't a perfect little person in that moment? Can we? I think we should. I think perfect little person is wild a little bit. I think we're gonna do an infantilizing women. I think I can't hear perfect little person as a way that a woman should attempt to be, and not cross off infantilizing women. I think we got to do it. 'Cause that's weird. I want to know about the boxes so bad. What the fuck is going on with the boxes? I would be willing to bet that we're not going to get much more details on the boxes, but I really want to know about the boxes.
I'm learning to have so much more forgiveness and grace for myself. Like, oh, welcome to being human.
And the same forgiveness and grace that you have for Jamie and your kids. And,
Exactly.
you know, well, I do want to talk about kids because you're both raising boys. And
So even when we segue into child talk, as we pointed out, it's about boys. Wait, is she not going to bring up that they also have daughters? Because we're gonna get mentioning son over daughter if that's true. If she's not gonna, I'll let her continue. I will let Liz speak.
And I'm very curious about it because you're both raising boys. And I'm very curious about what that has been like, and what do you think, like, how did you think it would be, you know, being a mother to a young boy? Like, what's the gap there between what it actually is? Or, like, did it change your perspective on masculinity?
I don't know if I had any idea of what it was going to be like to raise a boy. And I only have one sister, so I didn't grow up.
It's like the daughters don't exist. It's like their firstborn daughter never happened. It literally... I don't think the penisless daughter is Natasha's. I think only the newer kid is Natasha's. But Emily's firstborn was a girl. And it's like the girl just never happened. We're getting values son over daughter. But Jamie had a daughter first, too. I just don't think that it was with Natasha. I think it was with his first wife. But, yeah. Yeah, we value the son over the daughter. So we need abuse of power and redefining masculinity. Jesus. Literally, her firstborn was a girl.
Up with boys in my family. And I also didn't care to read anything about it. I did very little research. I know you and I share that same thing, Natasha. We were like, okay, let's have the best birth ever. Yes. And then you don't think about all the years after that. I had no idea what to expect. But it's very...
Do we have another birth-related square? I can't remember. No, not tonight. Let's have the best birth ever. It's really interesting that the birth is the most important part.
Very, very interesting to be a mama of both a little girl and a boy, and to see how different they are. And in our family, actually, I think you guys are a little similar to that. Our girl is like the bold, loud one, and she's colorful, and she's confident, and she's just sparkly.
Eldest daughter.
At least she's mentioned, I guess.
Eldest daughter, there you go. And Maxwell is this sweet little love bug, very tender.
Okay, I'm folding laundry. Can somebody Google, is there a famous Maxwell Baha'i? Is this, because I think Maxwell is kind of just a normal name, but I'm wondering if that's like Breakwell, where it's somebody's surname. I wonder if there's a famous Baha'i who's a Maxwell.
Very sensitive. I mean, so is my daughter. But he's just a very soft boy. And it became obvious very early that, like we really need to tend to this tender heart because it is so beautiful and we don't want him to lose it.
No.
I think, hang on. I'm going full screen because I think something just clicked for me. Y'all, I think the sun is more important because they're projecting Justin onto the sun. Like, not only just for being a boy, but, like, I think they're also projecting the emotionality and the personality that Justin Baldoni is so proud of himself for having onto the son. And I think that they were unwilling or unable to do that onto the daughter. And I think that that's why the son is more important than the daughter. I think that the son is more important than the daughter because they have decided to copy and paste Justin onto his son, which, like, I guess, I mean, that's what people do with their sons all the time, and the father. But you have to protect and nurture and blah blah blah, because that's how Justin wants to be treated, and who cares about that little girl that they just brushed over describing.
Because that was one thing that I did know, that can happen to boys, I was told. So that's one thing that we've tried to focus on as much as possible.
Oh, that was fast. Thank you. Mae Maxwell established a place for Baha'i in Montreal. Maxwell is regarded as the mother of the Baha'i community of Canada. Amazing. Oh, Mae Maxwell. Sorry, I said Maxwell. Mae Maxwell. All right, yeah. So they must have it's got to be that, right? It has to be. Good job, chat. Thank you. Mae Maxwell, amazing. And Liz is from Montreal. Also implied the daughter is already confident / doesn't need validation. Yes, and he said that in another interview too that we've gone over. I think that I read where he was saying along the lines of that the world is going to validate his daughter, so they're more concerned with validating the emotions of their son because the world will validate the daughter's emotions, which is like, no, they won't do that. But that's clearly what they think.
Is allowing space for all of his feelings and helping him understand and know that he is amazing just the way that he is, in his softness, in his wildness, in all of the things, that he can be all of the things. Now, he's still very young. He's about to turn 6. Mm-hmm. So I know that things are about to change now with hormones and everything. They say 6 is actually a really big milestone, so whew, buckle up.
What happened?
I just know that Waldorf has a whole family workshop on 6.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
okay,
specifically for boys. Because things happen hormonally, and it's a big milestone going from...
What does that mean when she says Waldorf?
Being kind of in your own little world with your own family to realizing that, oh, there's a whole world out there and relationships to be made, and I'm this person in this group of people and this person in that group of people, and they just start mapping their universe.
Okay.
And it can be very overwhelming, absolutely beautiful, all of the things.
Okay, I got it.
And I think more than anything, it's so important for these boys to know that they belong in the family, that we, as, without being a helicopter parent, but really being present parents, so that the parents come first and peers come next. Because I think boys can have a tendency to very quickly move into peer land and really identify and lean more on their peers than on their parents. Gabor Mate talks so much about that, hold on to your children. I think it's more important now than ever that we are just really solid, really present parents and full of acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect with the boy either. I had a sister as well.
So I agree, Vex. I think that this counts as a weird thought on men's emotions. This is weird. This is odd. Are we? No, I thought we were coming up on a cross, but we're not. Okay.
Well, growing up, and I think that's something that keeps taking Jamie and I back, is just how sweet and sensitive and soft and caring and nurturing this little boy we have is, who equally still loves Transformers and trucks and rocks and, throwing and criming. Like, has just as much.
Why don't you listen to When I Was a Boy by Dar Williams, and then maybe you'll calm down.
Of that energy as he does this tenderness that melts us every day. And I also, my biggest prayer is that he doesn't lose that the world doesn't take that from him, and that we don't take that from him. And we constantly try to just uphold that for him and reflect to him constantly, oh, you are just so sweet, you're so affectionate, you're so loving, you're so, letting him see that you are this and it's beautiful.
Right.
To let him know that that's those are valuable traits that he has. And it's so...
Waldorf means Nazi origin hippie schools. Interesting. Huh. Good to know. I don't know much about schooling, obviously, because I was like homeschooled. I thought maybe it was kind of like maybe if it was the same kind of deal as like monastery or whatever, where it's like a way that people do schools. But I don't know anything about it, and it would be interesting to see if that's something that Baha'i is really into or not, or if it's just something that Liz and Justin in particular seem to be in. I wonder if all the Baha'i people are putting their sons and daughters in Waldorf schools. But I also don't really know what that means. Got here very late, but it looks like we're close to a bingo. We are both close to a bingo and also not even halfway done with this video. So I think we're definitely going to get at least one bingo tonight. Fascinating.
Amazing. Like just how, just like what a whole person he is. And again, my prayer is that he doesn't lose it.
This is oh, sorry, I didn't realize I still had the bingo card up. But is bioessentialism still here? Did we already cross it, or did that one get taken off? This is just weird. It's just weird. I want to say, like, I guess I kind of understand what they're saying in terms of like, if we're pretending to understand patriarchy or whatever, in that context, yeah, it is surprising that you meet a little boy and they're sweet. But I'm gonna say something controversial. I'm gonna say something controversial as the aunt to 6 nephews. I think most very young little boys are sweet. I think if you meet a little boy, and especially like 6 years and below, if you meet a little boy, not only are they very sweet, but they're also meaningfully not all that different from little girls. Like they can obviously have very different ways that they're being raised by parents, but like little boys can be very sweet. Little boys are often very sweet. Like I think it's so strange that they're acting like it's bizarre and wild that this child would be sweet. Because you're describing a child to me. Children are sweet. If you're doing a decent job parenting, your child will be sweet, whether it is a little assigned male or an assigned female child. My nephews are very sweet. I have like I said, I have 6. But all of my nephews are sweet, even though like they have very different personality types. Like even the rough and tumble ones are sweet. Even, I especially, I jokingly say that some of my, I have actually the middle one on both my sister and my brother's family. I jokingly sometimes refer to the 2 middle boys as like well boys, like the Saturday Night Live skit about wells for boys, and like sensitive well boys or whatever. But like neither of these women are describing having a well boy. Neither of these boys are describing that the child is like very sensitive and shy and withdrawn or anything. They're just describing a child. Like I don't like this. I feel like if you don't have an expectation that your boy can just be a normal child, then you're holding them to weird and different expectations, and it's going to be harder for them to like learn how to be a person. They're surprised because they think men are inherently bad, even though they claim it's just conditioning. They're surprised because they expected him to be tough and mean. I think that's a really, really good point. I'm very glad that Wells for Boys means anything to anybody else in chat other than me and my best friend. Justin Baldoni wishes that he were a well boy, but he is not a well boy. They're so focused on the social and emotional issues men face, but then are assuming their boys are not going to be socially or emotionally healthy. Yeah. Had to resist the urge to yell, "This is literally me. I'm Wells for boys and watching with my family." I sent that skit to my sister, and I was like, "This is the middle one, by the way, if you even care. I hope that's not offensive." And she watched it, and she was like, "Oh my God, that is my son." But that's not the kind of child that I feel like either of these women have just described. I feel like they've described very normal little boys. But I also know as a I guess boy aunt isn't really a term, but as an aunt of boys, I think, hot take, boy children can be very sweet. Let's continue.
You know, through society, that society doesn't rob that of him.
And there's Niobe Way. She wrote an entire book about how boys have these intimate, tender friendships and close relationships with particularly other boys, in the way that girls do too, right? Around that age. And then, something sort of happens. They're sort of taking in the culture, right? That it's the messages aren't just coming from the family, it's coming from society. Yes. And they're learning about what role they're expected to play, and that, there's a real loss, actually, like of that intimacy with other boys around that age. And it sort of is a precursor to the male loneliness crisis that we know so much about. You guys are like, for people who are not watching, they're like both about to stop. What would you want for these boys? What do you think is missing, or what are the mistakes that people are making with boys right now?
I want him to feel safe always, to like show up with that tender heart and not be shamed for it, or like, that's not man enough, or just all the things that come with that. I just hope he never is never shamed for crying, for having a
Boy moms desire attention and affection from men so much they put it on their kindergartens. That's so interesting. Crazy how gender essentialists always despise the gender they claim to venerate. These women are obsessed with men but hate them the way that TERFs hate women, nothing but contempt. Yes, oh my God, that is such a good point. Men are so wonderful. I love how they're insensitive, violent weirdos who can't be emotionally intimate. Masculinity is so sacred. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, no, that's such a good point.
a tender heart for wanting to he still wants to.
I feel like I and my chat here have so much higher, like, expectations of men and, like, belief that men can do the right things than the people who are on this podcast that is, like, supposed to be obsessed with men do. Because part of thinking that somebody could be good is having standards for them. But the only standard that they feel like they have to have is that they'll maybe feel bad about it sometimes after the fact.
Hug things out. Like, that's when he wants to resolve a problem, he still, like, needs a hug that, like, helps him resolve. And I saw it happen at school. He still is doing it, thank God. And his friend hugged him right back, you know. So I just hope that those things aren't robbed, because we need that.
You should see our boys together. They hold hands everywhere they go. And when they see each other, Justin recently shot a slow motion video of the two of them just, like, running towards each other and then embracing and spinning around, and the biggest smiles on their faces.
Yeah, such joy.
And the preciousness and the beauty of that. May they never lose that. I'm sure the time will come when that feels a little much to them, but that they never get shy to share their joy and their sensitivity and their love for one another. Or for anybody. There's just something so precious about it. So I do think that something that we can do is to allow our boys to also be little in these precious little gems, you know, not make them grow up too fast, not make them do things too fast. Keeping the magic of childhood is one of the best things.
I wonder if there's I wonder if there's such a focus on not making the girl do things too fast. You know what I mean? You know what I'm picking up on here? Like, I hope she also applies that to her child. Wouldn't be surprised if the girl gets chores sooner than the boy.
And medicines for humanity that we could possibly do. Keeping the magic for children and not getting them into I mean, if they enjoy sports, wonderful, but like, don't get your kids too busy too fast, or academia, or whatever it is. Like, let's let them be children.
Yeah.
There's such value in that.
Yeah, yeah, it's so funny. I did this video on this other podcast I'm doing, and we were asking like grown men if like they like their birthdays, because we just started noticing, we're like, women love their birthdays and men don't seem to like enjoy it as much as women. Like, what's going on there? And it's drawing attention to myself. I'm not supposed to be drawing attention to myself. That's somehow vain, or it's feminine. But one thing that really came up is, it was almost in the subtext of what they were saying, which was like, I'm a
Yes, yeah, I really like that. I feel like it's inherently pro-men to have high expectations of men. I don't think these women expect much of men, and I think that's both anti-feminist and not good for or to men. I completely agree. No, Liz is not, she's not a mother. She's not sure if she wants to have children. Emily has one girl and one boy. And Natasha, I'm not sure how many children Natasha and Jamie have together. I know Jamie has older children from another marriage, and then they have at least Breakwell together. These self-proclaimed feminists are saying boys will be boys.
adult now. Like, I'm
Also, I know lots of women who hate their birthdays, and lots of non-binary people who hate their birthdays. I don't think that's a gendered thing. People just react differently to attention.
a man. Boys celebrate their birthdays, and then you ask them about their birthdays, like as boys, and it's just their eyes light up, and they'll tell you all these stories, right? And so I think, you know, we talk about the adultification of girls, and particularly black girls, and I think it hurts girls in sort of different ways. But there's something that happens when like a boy becomes a man, and this is across cultures, like anthropological evidence of the way that we sort of squeeze out the tenderness out of boys in order for them to become men, and then the things that they sort of lose as a result of it.
Liz, how has it been after 100 episodes of being the only female co-host of Man Enough? How's it going?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, this is our only we've never not had a.
Oh, I was just gonna say, was this a Bechtel pass? And then we never not had a man at this table right as I was pausing.
Man
wow.
at this table. When Justin first sort of pitched this podcast to me, when he mentioned that he wanted Jamie to be a part of it, and I didn't know Jamie yet, and it was awesome to get to know him on set, and I can't imagine the show without him. But originally, I told Justin, I was like, and people of our team, I was like, it's just gonna.
Yep. Yeah. Hating your birthday is a were you traumatized by this day or not kind of thing. I don't think it counts as a Bechtel pass, Trash. She immediately pulled it into naming the men and talking about the men. I think the question counted a little bit almost, but I don't think it counts, not with the way it was answered. 31 minutes in and we've still yet to Bechtel pass. I don't think I like these women giving a throwaway mention of black girls, and especially to then and then circle it back into ultimately men though. Yeah. I don't like it either. This podcast seems very uncurious about the fact that people are nuanced and multifaceted. I don't know how to put it, but it's disturbing to boil down both genders to very vapid stereotypes. I completely agree. Why is this called Woman Enough when it's all about boys and men? Right. They didn't even try. Have we called everything you just said as antithetical to feminism? I don't think I have that one on my card, do I? I don't have that one on mine. If you have it on your own card, people have different cards than I do. I have just like the one static card. But if there's everything you just said as antithetical to feminism, I think we've more than enough gotten then. To them, being obsessed with men is woman enough. Yeah. When you really look at who Justin is, it's so telling that he and everyone else on this podcast seem to think that male tenderness equals respect for women. He genuinely thinks he's done enough.
The bros growing out, and it's not even that because they're, you know, bad guys, but women can really tend to, and this happens to me all the time, like I'll be in a group with men, and no matter how progressive and amazing they are, like I just don't talk as much. I don't say what I think as much. I will be kind of take a backseat. And when
says the author of the book For the Love of Men, I'm so shocked. I am so shocked that you don't know how to hold your own with men, Liz. I'm so shocked that you, as a feminist whose entire branding is about how much you love men, do not know how to hold down a conversation with men and take up space. I'm so surprised. I'm so stunned. That's so out of character with the whole rest of your persona. What a stunning, surprising development that this woman doesn't know how to hold her own in a conversation with men. Sorry, that's really, really bitchy, but that's where I'm at with Liz Plank right now. Which I also want to note, I'm just going to say, I'm annoyed with her right now because I think this podcast is vapid, meaningless bullshit. But I am 10 toes down for Liz Plank against the people who hate her because of she left Man Enough. I wish that she would have also unfollowed those guys. I hope she has more to say as like the court stuff gets closer. I hope that she's more in support of Blake, but for as annoyed as I am by her for her actions in this podcast, like I do think the way that she's being treated by people who are angry that she has like betrayed Jamie and Justin, I think that's really bullshit. But just wanna point that out.
And I'm with a group of men where I don't do that. I know I'm with a really, really good group, and that's how I felt on this podcast. And it took work, Jamie and Justin having the amazing relationship that they have. They've, I think, helped each other, monitoring how included I was and how, making sure I don't get interrupted. And at one point that I was doing the minutes, and I was sort of the only person that was kind of managing the time. Not because they purposely thought that I should, but because it was invisible to them. And I had just taken on that role.
Yeah.
And I felt very frustrated by that role. These sort of feminine roles that women are, expected to take on and that we're good at, but that we're like, just because I'm good at it, it doesn't mean I'm the only one who should be shouldering it.
Yes.
I've gotten so much out of being heard.
Oh, she also left Dax Shepard's podcast network, and he gives off centrist douche. I don't like Dax Shepard. I don't trust Dax Shepard. I can't get over the fact that no part of this conversation hasn't included men. And not even just included, but also centers. This is wild. Yeah, y'all should see the conspiracy theories around Liz and Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. It's wild. It's so much. My personal hope is that Liz was someone who might have needed to hear it from someone else how inappropriate Jamie and Justin were. It could have been. It could be a first step. I think so too. Yeah, her Instagram comments are a hellscape for sure. I know Dax made Jonathan Van Ness cry in a conversation where Dax Shepard was trying to where Dax Shepard was trying to like both sides trans issues. And Jonathan Van Ness cried, and I've never forgiven Dax Shepard. I think Dax has been shitty about like a ton of things, but yeah. Also, if you just look at the comments here, like Liz, you were lucky enough to have two good men in your life and chose to betray them. Good luck attracting good men in your life ever. Liz had no idea what she was blessed with to be in the company of Justin, Jamie, and their wives. Good luck finding genuine, supportive friends ever again, Liz. Hope Emily and Natasha can have a podcast. I think Justin and Jamie just fell in love with their wife all over again after watching this. And that's like the only one that they liked is the one about the men. That's funny. That's really funny. Holy fuck. Holy shit, that's the only one they liked. Sad that Liz didn't have enough respect for the women at this table not to abandon the podcast and jump on the social media bandwagon. Her talk is just talk. Superficial woke language, but not true depth. She couldn't even trust these ethical women to know they wouldn't allow their husbands to treat another woman in the way Blake said. Never heard of any of these people before this horrific abuse they put Wayfarer and team through, but their intentions are clear and beautiful. Oh, okay. They did also like somebody else praising them. A lot of these are from before Liz came out against them.
On this podcast by men, where I don't feel like I need to wrestle my way in. And it's been such a beautiful evolution. I feel really, really grateful for all of it. And yeah, I get a lot out of like, sometimes I'll watch our little clips and I'm like, I'll be talking and then there's like, Justin's like And then Jamie's like, and I'm like,
Nodding
it.
approvingly.
No, and I think
Amazing.
I think that's an important visual to show people, you
Yeah.
know, and I got a lot of comments being like, you really do hold your own, and it's amazing to see, men truly.
Yeah, trash. You can never assume a man is good just because he has a wife. In fact, a wife who acts like Emily is a red flag. I agree.
Truly listening and taking in and hearing and seeing women in that way. Unfortunately, it's still rare. So I feel like what we're doing is really cool, and I feel really lucky to be a part of it.
It's so cool to
Amazing.
see. You guys really are here for all of it. The
Yeah.
hard
Yes.
conversations,
Yeah.
the fun conversations, and the
Yeah.
fact that you guys, what did we say it was? 2 years? That you guys are such good friends.
Yeah.
It just shows how it can be done.
Yeah.
Yes.
How we can all disagree and have different points of view and choose to stay in the room and have the hard conversations and then get even stronger.
But what different points of view do you have? You're all in like this Baha'i religion together. You all believe these weird things about gender roles and gender essentialism. What disagreements?
Have an even stronger relationship after
Yeah.
that. So
Yes.
thank you for showing us how it's done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Thank
beautiful.
you. I appreciate it. And to their credit too. Like, sometimes I would challenge them at this table, and I was like, they're gonna cut it out, you know, or they're gonna take, and they never did. Like, and I really, that's the work, you know, like that's
The
it, doing
work.
it, you know, in front of everybody and with the failures or the, you know, the misses. But okay, so I'm really in the process of deciding if I want kids, and I feel like I'm constantly in it, and I constantly change my mind, which makes me think I probably shouldn't because I've been changing my mind so much. Part of it is just the way that our society's organized. I'm like, am I gonna? I feel like mothers are set up to fail in many respects, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna fail at it. I also think that there's a lot of, even you were saying, oh yeah, I Googled this, and like, oh, I didn't know about this, and you know, that there's so much pressure to like, my parents, I feel like, had kids and they're like, okay, what, like, did they even read one book about parenting?
I don't know
like,
how our
probably
parents
not.
did it.
And like,
We
but-
didn't seem to care that much.
yeah,
Like,
and we turned out okay, like a little fucked up, but like okay. And so, you know, do you and then there's a part of it where I do feel like, am I going to lose myself? You know, and I'll find myself in because again, I love the idea of being a mom, right? And that is the draw, despite all of the negative things that are populate my mind around it. But yeah, can women have it all? Like, can you still preserve yourself even if you're a mom?
No. Hell yes.
So let's talk about that. Yes.
Let's get into it.
Do we think that was a Bechdel pass? I mean, I feel like it's still so parenting and being part of your husband's thing, but
Let's get into it.
I say no because you don't preserve yourself. You become someone new. Of course, your essence is always there, but you're not. There's no salvaging the you before motherhood. Absolutely not. If anything, you become like your best self, your grander self. Like you're like the pod opens up, and you're like, I didn't know this existed. You know, at least if you do the work behind it.
Yeah. Work.
But no, there's no self-preserving who you were before becoming a mother.
And that's a good thing. It's like is it a rebirth in a way?
Yes.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, it's such a rebirth.
Yes, yes.
rebirth. Are we getting to womb world? Life and death are the same. Also, this is so weird. I'm sorry. I think it's weird. This is definitely the closest we've come to a Bechdel cast. Bechdel pass. But yeah. Yeah, I hate the narrative of women losing personhood when they have kids. Me too. It makes me sad to see people struggling with these big complex feelings around motherhood and self, knowing that their peers' response is just going to be, don't worry about it if you're on the fence, just have babies. Yeah. If you're on the fence, it's a no. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think we did already mark natalism, but yeah, let's give it another one by now. But we got rebirth, which is not quite life and death are the same, but maybe we do need a rebirth square because there's so much yeah. The Bechdel pass is about how women are intuitively mothers, yes. No, she said pod. We're not quite at womb world yet, but I was thinking maybe we were going to get to like we're dying when we give birth, right? Maybe that's something. Maybe you die and then that's how life and death are the same.
Yes.
You birth a baby and you birth,
Birth
a mother.
a mother.
You birth a baby and you birth a mother.
So
And we don't talk about it.
but that's the thing.
You both work with
All we
mothers
need
so much.
to
I want you to bring
do
it up. Yeah.
is gather.
Yes.
Like women need to gather and sit in circle together and talk about these things. Meet with elders.
Yes.
Use your people. Call on me and Natasha.
Yes.
We will talk your ears off.
She's Serena Joy, by the way. I know I said this the other night, but it remains true. She's Serena Joy.
It's just about educating yourself, preparing yourself.
And we're not talking about Googling.
No, not Googling.
It's like within community.
talk to real people. Do not Google anything about birth or anything. Just stay away from Google if you can. It's just about gathering your
She says that because she doesn't want people to take medication during birth, because she wants them to do unmedicated births like she did. That's why you shouldn't Google it.
information that you need, knowing that you're stepping into something absolutely unknown. Will you be thrown some curveballs? Yes. Will you be challenged?
Yes.
Will you be taken completely outside of your comfort box?
Yes.
Will you stretch and stretch and stretch? And I mean physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually.
Yes.
But what a frickin' gift. I cannot think of anything more powerful than becoming a mother and stepping into motherhood. Of course, I think the first question that is really important to ask, and not in your head, but ask your body, do I want to be a mother? Keep asking your body if it wants to be a mother and feel into that answer. And
My body wants to be a mother, but every time I get my period and it's really mad about it, and that doesn't mean that I want to have babies. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you ever saying, Emily?
for many women, that is no. And that is what's absolutely aligned for their soul and their mission and their purpose on planet Earth. And that's more than okay.
Okay.
She's here to do something else. Many of us, however, I think out of fear and because we get stuck in this mind chatter, we get so afraid of stepping into motherhood, rightfully so. Had I known how hard it was going to be, I very well might have just said, no, I'm good. I'm great on my own. And now, of course, having been a mother for 8 years, I love the human I'm becoming and the woman that I'm becoming because I have my children. It taught me so much about myself, and it has helped me find the medicine that I'm here to offer. And there's just so much, what's the feeling, Natasha? It's like, I feel like I've just been marinating in life and kind of being beaten and molded, and now I'm just appearing as this piece of clay that is finally blossoming and landing in her role. And I'm so happy that I'm a mother. I just wish that I would have had and pulled in community in a different way and not lived in that belief that I'm here to do it on my own, because that's what I was telling myself for a whole lot of years. And it crushed me. You can choose not to do that. And you can choose to just say, this is what I'm going to need from my partner. This is what I'm going to need from my friends. This is what I'm going to need for myself. And just as much as you put time into birth and pregnancy, do that with, I almost called it afterlife, postpartum.
I was just gonna get up and put my clothes in my dresser drawer, and she just said she almost calls postpartum afterlife. Chat. Did we get birth and death are the same? That has to be birth and death are the same, right? That has to be. That's birth and death are the same. We absolutely, yep. Wow, we got there. Calling postpartum afterlife is wild. That's like Bella Cullen shit. Yeah. All right, I'm glad we all agree that counts. Thank you. These women are 100% in a cult. Who upwombing they world. Man. All right, we got it. I was a little worried we weren't going to get to life and death. I feel like two wings and sacred masculinity and femininity are inevitable. It's inevitable. But let's see. We're in 40 minutes out of 120.
And I mean postpartum for decades to come. What do you want that to look like? And then claim it. We can't do much about policies. in our culture, that's going to be way behind. But when women come together and work in wisdom and I mean, we're all about the ancient tools and gathering women in ceremony and ritual and dipping deep into this old, ancient, and yet very, what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm gonna stamp live, laugh, Baha'i again. I was putting my stuff in the I was putting my stuff in my dresser, but I think that's another live, laugh, Baha'i.
Or perfect medicine for this time as well. You can choose where you exist in motherhood. We suffered because we didn't know any better. Truly, we had to learn the hard way, and that does not have to be everyone's. And hard way, like in a very privileged way. Let me just be real about that. But it was still very hard.
What was
at
hard?
times.
What were the low points? Or points of opportunity for growth.
well done.
Yeah, I think it was just not knowing that I couldn't do it alone. And then when I say alone, I don't mean that Jamie wasn't there. I'm talking about, even just a couple shouldn't be doing parenting and raising a child alone in their little box of a home. Like, it's just not. I had a friend once say, a nuclear family is a nuclear bomb, just like waiting to go off. No. It's not that's not how we're built. It's not what communities are supposed to be like.
It's not a community.
Exactly.
Right?
It's not
it's
a community.
denying community.
Exactly. Yeah. And I remember I had this voice. I had my little infant with me, and Jamie would be working, and I had this voice. It was harsh, it was mean, it was critical, and it said, you have to figure out how to do this by yourself. And it told me that every day. It felt so like fear-based and like pushy, and there was this pressure of like, don't ask for help. You have to figure out how to raise your child. You have to know how to be a mother and have this child by yourself. Like,
I just want to say this once again is striking me as the way you talk about a hardship during a job interview. They're not talking about ways that motherhood is like, I mean, I guess I'm saying this as somebody who doesn't have children, but like, I feel like she's not actually discussing like ways that motherhood is hard and that she's set up to fail. She's doing my weakness is I love too much. My weakness is I wanted to do it all by myself. And obviously it's not my husband's fault. It was my fault. That was my shortcoming, because women are the only ones who ever have shortcomings that actually need to be fixed. But it's only because I had to do it all on my own. Why did you feel that way though?
And I finally had to like let that voice go and know that like this is not healthy. This is not right. Anytime I'm alone with my children for like more than 2 hours, I'm like, this ain't right. Where's somebody? Anybody needs to come and like help just shift the energy. That was really hard. Just being alone, not having someone else that did it already. To be like, oh, let me hold the baby for you. Oh, that's normal. Oh, this is what helped me. Go rest. You're dealing with so much after birth, right? Your body is healing, first of all. Just laying my hands on the table.
Go there.
Maternal health care, it like drops off after a woman gives birth. It like disappears. They check you in 6 weeks. They make sure you're not dying. You're like, go live your life, go have sex, bye. And there's so much missing in like allowing our bodies to rest, heal, recover, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Like all these things are happening. It's like, it's truly a profound moment in a human body's life that we just like ignore. We just send them home, see you later, go live life as normal. It's like, figure it out. So it was just really hard, like not knowing what I needed, not knowing how to ask for it, even in a privileged space. Like it's still flipping hard, and to be in an unprivileged space, even worse off. Like I think everyone should be involved in the raising of children. Best friends, aunties, neighbors, like we should be building trust and like relationships so that everyone feels safe to take part and help.
And what are some of the like real nitty gritty, like granular ways that people can do that? Like I know there's been this trend going around on TikTok of groups of 7 mothers together cooking a huge meal and then giving each other Tupperware so that they each have a meal for every day of the week to feed their families,
That's
and it's
awesome.
something different and yummy. And
oh my god, that sounds amazing.
And some women were commenting like, must be great to have 7 friends. That some women don't, have that. And so how do you build that community, or what points in your motherhood journey where you're like, I should have reached out at this point, or I should have, how do you build that?
So It needs to happen before the baby comes out.
Yeah.
You know, even before a couple decides to have a child, I think they need to think about, honestly, who is our community? Who do we want to be in our community? Where are we living? Who are we living near?
Right. Physically. Yeah.
Yeah, like, do we want to live near your mom, or do you want to live near my mom? Do we have healthy relationships with our family? Do we have other...
The only two options for places to live, near your mom or near my mom.
families that have had children near us that can like just help, you know, learn from, play dates, all that, you know, like I feel like we don't build those kinds of relationships until like school years start, but that needs to happen.
Also, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit getting bored out of my school. We're going to 1.5 speed.
Before you decided to have a child, how are you building community? Who's your circle? Who are you having dinners with? Who would you trust to watch your child? You know, like those things need to happen beforehand. And something that's been my passion and kind of my work right now is helping birthing couples, families, prepare for the postpartum period. Because right now there's no information, there's no preparation. And I accompany them and guide them through like, this is what the mom needs. How are you gonna set up rest for her? How much time work off are you gonna get? Who's gonna help? Is your mom coming over? She should come over. You know, like when people think like, oh yeah, maybe my mom might come. Yes, she should come. You know what I mean? Just like really setting themselves up with the proper nutrition, the proper rest, the proper support, the proper guidelines. Like if you are gonna come visit in the first 6 weeks, make sure you bring a meal or wash some dishes. Like I'm not here to entertain you. Like this is a healing period. You know, how are you just preparing yourself and your community at this time? This super important time, because what I've learned is that even if you don't give yourself what you actually need, women need these things after birth. If you don't give yourself the rest, the nutrition, all the things, you're still going to end up having to do it in your health journey later on. Whether it's 6 years later, whether it's 40 years later, it's going to catch up with you. So I feel like when we honor this intense period right after, like as a sacred time, let's like really help this mom who was pregnant for 9 months. Let's at least give her like 6 weeks.
10.
And then
Yes,
there's not
man,
such
10.
ramifications. There's not such an uphill climb afterwards. And that's what it felt like for me. And I know for you as well. Just
Natasha, it's 10. Yes, men, 10.
afterwards, it feels like such an uphill climb to recover again, to find yourself again, to realize, oh, I've become someone different. I've become someone new.
Right, and accepting that and knowing that's going to happen. So knowing how hard it is to be a mother and to be married, what's your pitch to young women who are currently like, I don't want to do any of this. I'm selecting out of dating men, and you know the idea of getting married to a man sounds like really rough, and I don't want to do it. What's your pitch?
Well, well, I think if you are a person, we talk a lot about working on yourself, or I keep bringing it up, but if you are that kind of person, you know how to find another person who is doing the same on themselves, right? So find a person who you know is willing to evolve and grow and clearly committed to the wild and crazy journey called life, right? So it doesn't take very long to know if you're with somebody like that or not. And once you have that person, which we are both very blessed to have, it is...
But also, they weren't like that when you met them.
Like they were, though.
They were,
He has
okay.
grown and changed so much.
Right.
I look back at pictures of myself from our wedding day, and I'm like, who is that lady? Wow, and I have so much compassion for that little one. We've grown so much. But I knew how curious I was about myself and about life, and I was never going to stop growing. And I saw the same in him. We were kindred spirits. And the fundamental things we both agreed on. We are the opposites. We are so different from one another. But we have these core fundamental beliefs and values that have always been the same, and they are still there. So know that you're with somebody who's willing to grow alongside you, otherwise it will not work. And if you find a partner like that, know that it's so special to have somebody that can be your mirror and is gonna frustrate the heck out of you, but who is willing to sit there and hold you and love you through your shit and your glory, and know that you will do the same for them. It's gonna feel so hard when we're triggered by somebody, when somebody's so close that they know exactly how to trigger us too. But when you get on the other side of that, it's so special, it's so deep, and you get to experience a love for yourself and for another that just feels sacred. And you get to a place where you really feel like you're in sacred union. And you don't have to be in a partnership to find joy and bliss, of course, but there's something about a sacred union that you can't find anywhere else.
Coyote, that's how I feel too. I feel sorry for them that their identities are so enmeshed with poison men, but goddamn, this is boring. Liz occasionally remembers gay people. Even as adult children, the father doesn't factor. Right, yeah, it's, are we going to live with your mom or my mom? It's so special and sacred when your husband stops triggering you. It's actually 3 genders, men, mothers, failures. Fuck. The heteropessimism readings are off the chart. For real. Find a husband like mine who does fuck all. That is actually really interesting, Vex. It's strange how they go so far to linguistically include men in birth, but they don't count on their presence or support after the fact. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's going to take work, which is why I keep going back to you need to be with somebody who's willing to do the work.
So do the work, do the work. I feel like we don't even, it's almost not even like we need a bingo square for do the work. We need like a counter. Like I need to be able to like slam something and have a counter every time we hear do the work because it's constant. Or like do shots or something.
And then about
I don't
kids.
drink like that.
So for me, my pitch is, here's my analogy always of marriage, is that it ends up being a mirror, like a full-length mirror. You're like, oh, okay, you're showing me who I am and how I look today, okay. And having children is one of those zoomed-in mirrors at like CVS where you can see the blackheads.
You're like,
ew, I didn't know I had that hair on my nose. Like that's what raising children is.
Wow.
Like they like zoom in. Like my daughter, she's so wise. She was like 3 or 2 and she'd say, Mama, why did you say it like that? Like she knew that I had said something in a way that was like, why was your tone like that? Like, oof. Like that's what, but here's the pitch. Motherhood. I think mothers are like the most sacred people on the planet.
Yeah.
And we just have to know that becoming.
Is that sacred femininity, chat? Can we say mothers are the most sacred people of on the planet is sacred femininity? Can we call that? I will wait for somebody to tell me I can call it, but I want to call that. I want to call that as sacred femininity. Mothers are the most sacred people on the planet, I think is sacred femininity, right? This is how the evangelicals I used to know talk about marriage and kids. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Like that list of everything classically Abby thinks is classic, everything the Baldonis think is the work. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Textbook sacred femininity, thank you. Also, yeah, Liz is just fucking chopped liver. Like, cool, okay. Awesome. I'll be damned before I let a toddler tone police me. Perfect. Okay, so we need not listening to women, and then we would have an up and down bingo. We need multiple camera angles and man enough book club, and then we would end up with 5 across. We're missing inappropriate touching, which I don't think we're gonna get. Well, we just have these ladies. You have exploiting marginalized group. Weird comment about Emily, and let her speak to get that side. Yeah. All right. I'm glad we all agree that was sacred femininity. It's too close for me to let it slide.
Being parents is like the greatest, grandest venture. We just don't, like, we're just dummies right now. Humanity's just forgotten or just never known. And I think as long as you know.
Liz is already raising 2 podcast hosts.
That, then you can start to like walk through the world and move through the world and make choices in a way that honor that, like, the sanctity of that position, prioritizing and just knowing your value as like someone that birthed another soul on this planet and is about.
Sorry, we can keep going. I just genuinely had an enhanced moment.
To like climb Mount Everest with like, I used to say that my postpartum period after my first child, it felt like I was going through hell with an angel by my side. Like my newborn was my angel and I felt like I was in hell. But like you get to the other side and the angel's still there with you and you like get through it together. Like that's what it felt like. So it's not for the faint of heart, but if you like want to like own.
Yes. Yeah. Straight up saying women are more valuable after they've given birth is wild. The amount of shit that is like just completely unchallenged in this podcast is wild. This is nuts. I cannot relate to these women at all. Me neither. Me neither. Their sanctity makes my soul hurt. Me too. God. Okay, we're at 53 minutes out of 120, and we're on 1.5 speed. We already got it genuinely upsetting, but it's not for Justin, but I'm gonna stamp it again for Natasha for gender rights, because that was genuinely upsetting to me. Your value as someone who birthed another soul or whatever the fuck, that's a fucked up thing to say. I'm sorry. You can feel however you feel about how great it is that you're a mom, I will agree with you that mothers should be supported because people should be supported and because you're raising new people. I will not agree with you that you have more value because you gave birth. That's a really fucked up premise to just accept.
That role, then go for it and make sure you have a partner and a community.
But what if you don't? What if you don't have a partner? What do you do? Because you do so much work with mothers. If a mother approaches you and there is no other person in the picture.
Just make sure you have community.
Yeah.
Just make sure other people are there around you, helping you raise your child.
I mean, even when I did egg freezing, which is not compare, I won't even put it in the same category as motherhood, but it felt like a rehearsal for motherhood. I hated it. I hate needles. I hate dildos. Like fucking up my, it's the I hate transvaginal ultrasound. I call it a dildo, but they really put it's transvaginal ultrasound is like the biggest dildo you've ever seen, and they just like put it up you every 2 days, and blood tests every 3 days. Like I have to like mentally prepare for like 48 hours before even getting like my blood drawn once. And obviously it's surgery. You're under, and and it's there. Your body's changing, and you can't do anything, and you have bruises from all the shock.
Right. I hate this parenthood is the greatest grander venture shit. There's people who do brain surgery in war zones, Kara, and there's people who have stood on the moon. Chill out. Exactly. It's strong Gilead vibes. Yeah. No, they did not offer how someone can build community at all. Well, you just do it. You just do it then. My advice is the same whether or not you have a partner and if you don't have a partner, and you just do it. And I only know how to do it because I have a partner.
And I really hated it, like with passion, and I was angry that I had to do it. I was frustrated, like, why do I have to, put my body through this? Why do I have to take time off of work to be able to, prepare for this? And I had a lot of like resentment and frustration, but then it was so cool. Like it turned out to be one of the coolest things I've ever done once it was done, because then I had this like profound appreciation for my body. I had this profound appreciation for how powerful women's bodies are. Like I knew it theoretically, but then like physically be like, whoa, my body is like literally these eggs are growing. And
you build community by living near my mother or yours. It sounds like they don't actually have community, they have a cult. That's a really good point. I'm honestly a little bit surprised she didn't say you join the Baha'i church, because we got lots of people who will help you with your babies.
And this is the beginning. I had this really spiritual experience where like they were putting me under and I was nervous, natural. I don't know if other people are, but I was nervous. And suddenly my future child was in the room with me.
Oh my goodness.
And being like, it's going to be okay. And then I was like, oh my God, this is the beginning of like, I'm going to tell you this story. Like when you're
going to be a mama. There it is.
There it is. Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
You have your answer.
Yeah. No, it was and she's still with me since then. That's the crazy thing. Like she's like on a little backpack. Like,
Liz.
So sweet. But then it's like a year goes by, and I go on. I meet people who are lovely but not great longtime partners, or who are at my age also like already in a have kids.
Those women are gonna pressure her into having that imaginary baby for the rest of her life, I think. Or probably not, actually, if they're not having a relationship anymore now that she's not on the podcast. It's no more helpful to glorify parenthood than it is to denigrate it. In both cases, it's words and it does nothing to help. It's words and it does nothing to help parents who are struggling. I agree. They did baby talk her. Yeah. If you were considered acquiring antipsychotics. The gif with the white guy blinking. Yeah, I'm trying not to be too mean, but she imagined something. She had like a little fantasy. A person does not exist. It's not her future baby. Like it's Liz, girl.
Already and don't necessarily want to have kids, and so I've come around to just being like, maybe it's not meant for me, and maybe it's not meant to be, but I do feel this motherhood could be the most empowering and disempowering thing I could do. That paradox, or holding those two opposites, are really hard for me. And then, part of me goes, well, don't put that pressure on yourself, and don't, I have friends who, I don't know if you know about this, but there are apps where you track how many burps your kid does and your baby's poops, and but I'm like, what? I can't even answer my texts. Like, how am I supposed to? So yeah, I get, as you can tell, overwhelmed easily, and so I just think, oh my God, I'm gonna be. But then I go, this is my inner monologue. Then I'm like, but I care so much. I'm always anxious about all my stupid little shit, and then I'll have a kid, and I won't care about all the little things, and then because I'm not going to be in my head about my life, there'll be something more important than all the little anxieties that I have, and so maybe that'll be good. I don't know. I keep going back and forth.
I can imagine, and it's such a big question too.
Yeah.
It is such a big decision.
Well, it's the biggest decision.
It's the biggest decision,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's ever going to get easy.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, most of us, we never get to the point where like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready now
right.
to get hitched and have kids and do all the things. I don't think we ever arrive to that point. And I think sometimes, yes, we are disempowered, but if we
I would like to hope I would like to hope that some people who have children and get married felt ready to get married and have children before they did that. I would like to hope that at least some people were felt prepared before they got married. I would not get married if I did not feel prepared to be married. And I certainly would not have a child when I don't feel like having a child. So they've talked about motherhood anytime that they've talked about anything other than men. And they've specifically talked about, like, being boy moms. As someone who never wants kids and has never wanted kids, even in a pronatalist cult, I cannot fathom this conversation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, this is like conversations I will never experience in my life. Right. That's the other thing that's so weird and surreal about watching this, and I imagine that this is a feeling that that a lot of us are having watching this. But it's like this is very much a conversation that we would not have ever been invited to the table at. Right, like Liz is the most child-free woman that they're comfortable interacting with because she has a little fantasy about having a child someday. I don't, has there been a lesbian on Man Enough? Did they have a lesbian on the Man Enough podcast at any point? What other women who don't want to have children have they had besides Liz? Like I'm just curious.
Choose to, that disempowerment can turn into empowerment, right? That's the gift of that duality. And also I think it can be so overwhelming. I'm not going to tell anybody or you that it's not going to be overwhelming and that you're not going to be frumpy and flustered and all whatever the words are at times.
I have sent Emily the deepest, darkest text messages in motherhood, like just
things
all
you
the
wanna-
F-bombs and
so
all the
many
caps and all the
F-bombs.
like we used to like vent text each other in the early days.
In like the darkest moment, right? Because I knew that Natasha would be a safe space. She would not judge anybody for it. She wouldn't judge me, my kids, my husband, nobody. She would just go, oh yeah, mama, I feel you. I'm so sorry. Saying a prayer for you right now. But what's so incredible about that journey though is that you get to rise back up. And there is something about motherhood.
You can't talk about sacred femininity with a woman because lesbians absolutely have masculine energy to them. That wasn't Taylor. That was Kaylee Coco. Haley Coco? I can never remember, actually. That's bad of me that I don't know. It's not an episode of Man Enough, it's Mother Enough. You're so right.
And having been pregnant and then birthing a human being and then raising that human being, that in and of itself is so empowering and it brings you back into your body. And it's just it's almost like a feeling of coming home, like I said about Justin earlier, but it's like really landing in my body and like you did, finding such respect and gratitude for this vessel, this instrument that we have, and realizing what it's capable of doing. It's such a gift.
You're also both entrepreneurs. How do you balance that?
Obviously,
It's Haley, by the way. I just always want to call her Kaylee for some reason. I don't know why I've never been able to keep that straight.
could feel this brewing inside of me as I was going through my postpartum tumult, and honestly didn't really have the time or space until my kids became like, grade school children, elementary. And even then,
Emily talks like the worst yoga teacher you've ever met. That's so true. I'm wondering if the men are coming back at the end. Maybe not. Oh, it looks like they don't. I was thinking maybe we'd have a couple more minutes of the guys at the end, but we're not going to.
Like, I still have days where like the kids are sick and homeschool. I'm like, great, I gotta like figure out my day now with kids at home and the sniffles, and I still gotta like Zoom with somebody at 3. And I just figured I've learned through motherhood that there's always gonna be a curveball, and I'm just like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. And I don't stress as easily or as often or as quickly, and I just still have to like ride the wave of life and motherhood. And we just happen to be in a place right now in our partnership where Jamie is got a schedule, and he's got and happens to be making more money right now, so like that's the priority in work life right now for us. But I still have the time. Like this weekend I just was at a workshop learning about postpartum care through Mexican traditional medicine, and Jamie held down the whole weekend with the kids so that I could go learn more for my work. So it's a dance, it's a juggle. It's not super easy. I don't get to like grow as quickly as I want. I don't get to post as much as I want, but it's like I'm figuring it out, and I'm having grace, and I'm taking it day by day. And my kids woke me up at 3 a.m. with sniffles and coughs last night, but fun. And we woke up late, and I took them to school late, and it's okay. And I was at my client late, and here I am. Like, you just, you keep moving through it. And I've learned to have much more grace and forgiveness of like the little things of like being late to school. They'll be okay.
Yeah. I didn't even notice her earrings. I like her outfit. I will say that. I like the way that she's dressed. She looks nice.
No one's yelling at me. We're not in trouble.
Right.
You know, like all the pressure we put on ourselves.
Natasha is just bringing something really beautiful into the world, and I'm so excited. It's so needed.
Yes. Oh my God. You're completely right. It's 100% because of the actress from Big Bang Theory. That is absolutely why my brain does that. Thank you. They are related, right? Aren't they? Or no? God, no. I think I'm mixing that up. I mixed that up just now. Haley Cuoco is not related to Haley Cuoco from Big Bang Theory, but Kaylee Cuoco has a sister or like a cousin or something who was in Lizzie Bennet Diaries who's related to her. And so in my brain, I'm always like, there's somebody related to Penny from the Big Bang Theory. But the person I'm thinking of was the person who played, this does not matter to almost anybody watching, but Mary Bennett. They made Mary a cousin in the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and the person who played Mary Bennett was the sister of Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory. And then now I can never remember Haley Cuoco's name. Haley Cuoco is the gay one. Lizzie Bennet Diaries mentioned. Yeah. There's a handful of people who remember when I made those videos, and who have been hanging around since then. And then whenever it comes back up, we're all very excited. That was like one of my first series of videos that I made. Was I did deep dives into Lizzie Bennet and Emma Approved. That was fun. Those were fun to work on.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting. So tell us for people who are listening who want to learn more about what you're doing.
Yeah,
the both of you.
so I offering postpartum preparation services for birthing families. I work with mostly the couple, and I educate them on the basic needs of a woman after birth. We go through a plan. You know, they figure out who they want there, how they want it, what kind of foods. We like create a game plan, and then at the end of about 5 or 6 sessions, I hold a workshop for the partner and their family, whoever their tribe is, whoever their community is that they know will be for them during the postpartum phase. And I tell them the plan, like, this is what she needs, this is what's important for women postpartum, this is what happens with the hormones, this is what happens to her brain, this is why this kind of food is important. We go through the game plan, like everyone's role and how to step in and the timing, and then everyone just is more prepared and armed, right, when the time comes. Just trying to give women a fair chance after birth.
Yeah. And Emily, tell us about the amazing work.
Oh my God, this coffee shop question. What's the most normal way to spell Kaylee? I keep serving Kaylee's at my barista job, and I cannot figure out a way to spell it that feels right. I think, honestly, if I was still a barista and I was typing Kaylee, I would do Kaylee. I think that's how I would do it. Which I don't think is true, but I would say that because one of my best friends, her name is Emily, but it's spelled like this. And so whenever I was unsure about how to spell something, I would just default to something that is similar to somebody that I like. So I think I would spell Kaylee, and also because that's quick. But Chapel Roan is Kayleigh. I think that also could be one that I might default to. But I think I would default to Kaylee. Unless they said otherwise. But it's hard. I haven't had to think about how I would spell something that I hear a lot. But yeah, isn't that spelling of Emily really cute? I've never met anybody else who had Emily spelled like that. And I love it. I also just love it because I love my friend Emily. But that's definitely that's when I think about like kind of a not quite spelling something exactly. I always think about the way they spell Emily. Anyway, continuing.
You're up to.
Yes, so I am the co-founder of We Are Amma, which is a lifestyle brand for mamas. So supporting mamas, but in a different way. And we resource her with products and content to help her empower herself. And our whole belief is that a nurture.
We need to actually look into what the fuck Amma's is, because we nurture her with content and products to help her empower herself. Okay, we resource her.
Brand for mamas, so supporting mamas, but in a different way. And we resource her with products and content to help her empower herself. And our whole belief is that a nurtured mama changes the world. And that's what we've been doing for a few years.
Yeah, I really don't like when people say tribe. Still stuck on the whole tribe thing. She really could have said support system. Quick, everyone vote on if they mean tribe in an appropriating indigenous cultures or an appropriating Judaism way. Right. you really can say community or even just people, like your people. You don't need to go for a tribe. I agree. I think Mama's should be a square. Mama's is trying so hard. Also, holy God, we are 1 hour into this. There's 20 minutes left, but we're watching on 1.5, so it won't be quite that long. But we are coming up into 3 hours on this stream. Thank you very much to, I know there are people who have been here, if not the entire time, like a few of you have been here the whole time. People have been here quite a while. I appreciate that. This is really fun.
Now and growing slowly because me and my partner we're both mamas, and it's okay. It doesn't have to happen in a year. It can happen slowly. We've had very slow but steady growth, and it's going really well, and it's so well received, and I love what we're doing. I adore it so much, and I'm also embarking upon a more personal, very holy and sacred to me journey that has more to do with healing and being a healer, and as I said before, literally gathering women in circle and in ceremony where we together can remember who we truly are and hear our soul again for the first time, maybe since we were 5, connecting with and celebrating the sacred feminine. And I've spent the last 2 years diving deep into studies about.
We got another sacred feminine. We got another sacred feminine. I'm stamping it.
The sacred feminine, working with a woman named Elaine Kalila Dowdy, and it's been profound. It has changed my life. And now I can't wait to bring this out into the world and gather my women and be in this frequency together, because it's time that we truly remember our magic and our power and our worth and our belonging.
Yes.
And I can't think of any more holy and sacred work than that.
Wow.
So exciting.
I definitely want to invite.
Okay, goodness.
Because that sounds
Done.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm getting a note from one of our male producers. What work is left to be done for the guys? We've been
One of our male producers.
too easy on them so far.
Ooh.
So
specifically our guys?
Yeah, your guys.
This is funny because for months now, I've known what conversation him and I need to have. And because of my lovely little programming, it's so hard for me to schedule the time to do it. Because I need to just sit down with my husband and find my voice and get very clear about what's in alignment for us and just say, let's make this happen. And it's something so seemingly small, but it's so important. So I think you guys have a similar thing. So he can be so busy, right? Justin could be so busy, and he can be so busy. He can stay up until midnight and do work and watch a movie that he needs to be watching, read a script that he needs to be reading, and just like work. He goes to bed late, which means that he then sleeps in the morning. And every dang day and morning, I have to rise up from bed very early to get the family ready for the day. And it is an unbelievable amount of work to pack lunch boxes and to make breakfast and then clean up and then make sure that the kids have the sweaters or the pants that they need and it just keeps going. It's so much and it's seemingly invisible. And it takes so much of my time.
So dang right.
And I would love for him to just, like, this is what needs to happen. We need to schedule at least 2 days where the morning is his to make sure that the family's out of the door, so that I can just have my mornings of lighting a candle without rush, drinking my tea, pulling tarot cards, mantras, singing, meditating, stretching, and just getting into my sacred, beautiful day without any rush. And then maybe do that little ritual for a short amount of time other mornings, but just to have him step up and see that work for what it is and take it on.
Okay?
We almost passed the Bechdel test. Let's bring it back to our guys. Also, she was saying just a couple years ago about how he should do the laundry and stuff, but she still has to be the one to get the kids out of the house for school every morning. It seems unfair to me that he can't help with that, and that they can't do that together, let alone split off. Like maybe you can split off, one of you does it 3 days a week, one of you does it 2 days a week, but maybe you could split it so both of you do part of the work in the morning, and then neither of you have to do all of it. Like maybe that's possible. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a parent. Just seems like maybe one of them could make the lunches and one of them could get the kids ready. It seems like maybe he could help her make the lunches at night before he goes to bed. Literally getting a text from a male producer to start talking about the men again. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, she did say they had a nanny last time, but she's not getting help from the nanny. He's trying, aka not changing, but says he might. Right. Does the text when they were passing the Bechdel test count as interrupting a woman? You know what? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes, it does. I'm gonna say yes, it does. Did we already? Okay. Maybe we had not listening to women though. We didn't have interrupting women. All right. I do think it would be. If anybody has that on their little individual bingo baker, definitely feel free to
Yeah,
cross
Okay,
it off.
the
There it
challenge is
is.
on. Hopefully, by the time this airs, you will have had the conversation and you'll be in lighting a candle and doing your
I
sacred
will snap a
feminine
picture of
ritual.
it for you
Yes,
guys, and I will
yes,
share it
send
with you.
it.
Yeah, it's happening.
But and you had the same issue when you came on.
Okay, all I can find about Amas for Mamas is that they sell t-shirts that say mama in a few different language and baby swaddles. They call them cocoons. They're empowering with product and content.
A couple when you came on the season, has that changed?
So,
Check in.
so
was
here's
your
the
version,
here's
Ian?
the
What's your
I
version?
know, I know. Here's the challenge. Soon after that episode, he went to Jersey and he was gone for like 6 weeks.
Oh.
So just the nature of his job is just like all over the place. Like one day it's the podcast, one day it's got to wake up early for that important meeting, one day he's flying off to da-da-da. So it's like hard to find a rhythm of like, okay, this is the day that Jamie wakes up with the kids.
Didn't they film It Ends With Us in Jersey? Would that have been Jersey? I'm pretty sure some of the footage of them like kissing is from Jersey.
But what I have noticed since then is like more, especially on the weekends, of like rising up together at least. So I'm not alone like the first couple hours on the weekends. So there is like a more this like involvement of like being up, helping with breakfast, you know. I just still think I've never said this out loud. And I adore him and I love him and I know he adores me and loves me and I know I love you, Jamie. You can do it. You can do it. I still I don't know, or at least I don't feel like he really knows all the things that happens behind the scenes in like managing a household.
I agree with that. And
Like-
I'm home too.
Like if we could just like write the list down of like this is what I'm thinking about and doing every day and every week.
Yeah.
Every day and every week. Here's a long list that just keeps popping up that I'm invisibly doing. And just so that gaps are filled in more consciously. And he will, like when I was gone this weekend, he spent, you know, the Sunday like cleaning and and he cleaned, which was great. But I think from my end I just wish it was like a consistent task.
I think we both have husbands that do a lot.
They do a lot.
And I think it's very easy for you and I to go, oh, but they do so much. So I shouldn't be asking for this. And he is really busy and he is the main breadwinner.
Yeah.
So I should just really like pull this load and just make it happen because that's what seems fair.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
And it's somewhere in me though, there's just like that itch of like, but does he have to stay up so late? Does he have to be so like such a victim of that patriarchal thing that we have to push?
How is it he's not being a victim of the patriarchy because he's staying up late? He's being inconsiderate to you because he's not budgeting enough energy to be helpful to you. That's not a victim of the patriarchy. Also, sorry for pausing on this face, Emily. But that's not being a victim of the patriarchy. I stay up really late all the time. Both like for work and also just because I'm like insomniatic. But like fucking everything is a victim of the patriarchy. Everything Justin ever does that is a negative impact on a woman's life is him being a victim of the patriarchy. That's wild. Like he literally does not have to stay up so late. That's a question with a very easy answer. I'm a victim of the patriarchy because of my thick upload schedule at midnight. Of course, they have to phrase their frustration in a way that still paints their husbands as victims, not the cause of their frustration. This male coddling is so tiring. I agree. If they are both adults, they can both behave like adults. My God, I hate this man. Me too. He's such a victim. What a poor little meow meow that needs so much care in order to do a second of household labor. Right. I'm a victim of the patriarchy. My brake light is out. Right, exactly. You're making him a victim to excuse him from participating in the family. Like, I think that adds a lot. And, like, what they're saying is true, right? That I feel like most men who benefit from the, like, labor that the woman in their house does, they don't understand how much labor the woman is doing. I think that's true. But they're saying it in such a way that just completely erases... It's so victimizing. It's such bullshit. And also, like, not only are they victimizing their husbands to get out of making the husbands look bad for not noticing all of this, but like these men in particular, who have a podcast called Man Enough, to not have like an actual thought out understanding of the split of domestic labor in their house in a way that doesn't make it seem like their wives wish that they were fucking dead, that really sucks. That's awful. I'm a victim of the patriarchy. My Mountain Dew got warm. Oh my God. We need to do a Mamas for Mamas research stream. Maybe we can do that tomorrow, because I do want to finish this, and then I want to be ready when Handmaid's Tale starts airing at midnight. But I would love to do more research on Mamas for Mamas. I'm sure Justin's harassment of Blake Lively also happened because he was a victim of the patriarchy that told him to treat women like crap. Absolutely. All right, let's continue.
Push, do, be, like, just be out there. Like, can he just say, and he's been really good at this lately, can he just say, no, I'm going to take this evening for my family. No, that's going to wait so that I can go to bed early and get up early and get the kids out the door. I just know that it's possible. We just have to be...
I thought this was Handmaid's Tale. Very good, very good.
Be strong enough to ask for it and schedule that meeting and put it in the calendar and speak our needs, and then we can together figure out how they can still do their job while also showing up in the family life and know all the invisible things that need to be done. At least be aware of them, and then start helping out with that, because I just think it's doable.
Yeah, it makes me think of these friends that I have that have a kid together, and they are the most kind of equal example, I think, of a partnership that I've ever sort of seen. And one of the things that's distinct about them is that he did take paternity leave, like for a couple of weeks. He didn't take it for as long as she did, but for a few weeks, she went back to work and she makes more money, actually. It was a concerted decision. And because he had to do it, it wasn't invisible. Like, right? It makes it visible. She didn't have to explain the things. He knows what the things are. And I think it's such a policy failure in countries, Scandinavian countries, where there is still, but it's still not perfect there. The domestic labor is and you who live Scandinavian, but there are policy incentives for it to be, more equal. And even then it's sort of not equal. But yeah, I guess listening to you talk, I feel frustrated that you have to, like, you're scheduling the meeting in the calendar.
It's really, really sad to hear that because he did paternity leave, he understands what being a parent is like. I think everybody should get paternity leave. I think maternity leave should be like much, much, much expanded, and I also think everybody should have paternity leave as well. I think in Massachusetts, actually, we ended up talking about this in one of my other streams. But my old contract center job that I got fired from because of the whole disability thing. I was doing paid family and medical leave for the state. And here we have maternity. Well, so first we have medical pregnancy leave that people can take. And then we also have maternity, and then we have child bonding. And the maximum total that they can have when it's like when you have the medical pregnancy leave and then you have recovery from that and then you have child bonding, as long as you don't take more than like 26 weeks off total. Which, like, that's not a ton of time to be home and be like, it's better than nothing. It's better than most states have, honestly. And then it's like, I think it's either I can't remember if it was 6 or 10 weeks. I think it was 10 weeks baby bonding. And everybody can have a couple of months with the baby as long as you're named on the birth certificate. And that should be across the entire fucking country. Like, what the hell? Why is that Massachusetts specific? Like, everybody should be able to stay home with the baby after the baby is born. Like, if you're gonna have a new baby, you should have time to, like, get used to that new labor. You should have time to be like, either you stay home and you help while the person who gave birth is recovering, or you can split it and have somebody at home with the child for a very long time. But even that, like, even I'm saying, like, oh, this is like a 10-week thing and it's really generous. Non-Americans are probably, yeah, exactly. Holy shit, 61 weeks? That's awesome. That's dope. 61 is good. Yeah. No, because I feel like you should be able to be home. I've said before on stream, I feel like you should be able to be home the whole first year if you want to be. You should be able to get paid for that, but I'm not in charge of how people run their maternity leave for some reason.
And even the fact that needs to be told when these are their kids. Like, this is their home. This is their bed. Like, they're there. And so, but at this,
literally, like, Emily Baldoni is a tragic figure a bit. Like, I don't know how bad I feel for her, but also I do because she's in a cult. But yeah, Laird Bot, can you imagine resenting your awful husband who won't contribute to housework or parenting, and he's constantly worshipped as a great male feminist even after sexually harassing his coworker? And remember what we were hearing the other night about how much she hates being told, that she's lucky. How much she hates being told that she's lucky to be married to him. Like, no wonder she hates being told that. I would not feel lucky. I would be angry when people said I was lucky. The wives talking about how the husbands don't understand women's issues should be put into evidence. I agree.
Same time, I know that it's, I mean, what you're saying, there's so many women who are probably listening, nodding their heads, being like, I'm in the same position. Why is that labor so invisible to men? Even for men who talk about masculinity and talk about gender equality, right?
Right. Life is very full, and it's easy to get blind and ignorant. And to be honest with you, I was blind and ignorant to the fact that that was not balanced, because I did not know my worth.
Okay.
I had not found my voice. And like I said before, I just assumed he's so busy, so I should just take this on. And then waking up to the fact that this is really hard. This is really lonely work as well. And I'm bored out of my mind some afternoons when I have to pack that goddamn lunchbox one more time and figure out if carrots are more interesting than celery, right? But I'm blind to the fact that, but it can be different. And I've only recently awakened to that, oh, wait a minute, if this doesn't feel right, I can change it. So I think the reason that I'm the one scheduling it in the calendar is because that is powerful to me. That is me finally claiming the life that I want. And I go, all right, we're going to sit down this afternoon and talk about this. And there's something about that is me finding my voice. And him and I, we've also been in this this is how we do life year after year, and then you just become that blind and ignorant person that doesn't see what's actually going on. And now that I'm waking up, I can help him wake up and say, hey, this is out of alignment. And then he gets to step up and choose to help out or not. I know that he will. I know that he's eager to. But sometimes it has to start with us as the woman. Yeah. And that's okay, because very often it just starts with the feminine, because she is more plugged in and like able to hear these things, and then we pass it on, and then they can choose to really step up. Not that it's always that way, but I think in relationships like ours, it very often starts with us waking up and then claiming what we need and what we waking up so that you can sleep in. Waking up so we can sleep in.
I love it. We're about to wrap up, but before we do, I want to ask you, well, first of all, I want to thank you both. It's so funny, I don't ever do this part, because particularly Jamie, Justin too, he just hasn't been here as much. They express so much gratitude to the guest, and just really reflect back the knowledge and wisdom that's been shared, and really see the person. So I'm like, right, I get to do it. So thank you so much for sharing. First of all, for like crying for my future kid that doesn't exist. And it's so funny because I cry every time I talk about it. And this is the first time I haven't. I'm like, am I dead inside? I'm crying. But I love that you cried, because I couldn't even talk about it without crying. So special. It is, and I appreciate it. Special. And there was a point where I was like, should I just ask them, like, should I have kids? And I was like, don't do that. And then you both basically volunteered it, and you're both so connected to each other, to yourselves, to our lovely co-hosts Justin and Jamie. And I really. We don't get to see each other very often, but I feel very connected to you, and very grateful for the both of you. I think you're both so amazing. You're awesome. What you're doing with moms, and really thrilled. I hope I get to be a mom, to get to enjoy.
Well, we are here for you.
Thank you.
We'll gather.
Thank you so much. So our last question that we ask every guest is, what does it mean to be man enough?
Just by being here, you are already enough, right? If we
bad answer, first of all, but why wouldn't you have changed it? Why is it still the same last question?
If we want to go really deeply spiritual, there is nothing that you can do to be man enough because you are, or to be enough because you are. But that can be hard to digest and hard to truly believe. So I feel like a great way of feeling like you are enough, whether that's just human enough or man enough, is to really find your purpose and your path and your bliss. Follow the crumbs, follow the little joy crumbs, so that you can figure out what really is your bliss and what you are here to do. Because I believe that when we're in purpose in that way, unapologetically in our purpose, we just automatically feel enough without having to do anything. So who are you here to be? We keep going back to that. Know thyself. Then it doesn't take so much effort.
I love that.
To add to that, that's a beautiful answer. I think it's also remembering to show up with humility and integrity, and remembering that the world doesn't revolve around you, even if you are in your purpose. That, to still be outward looking and see how you can help others and serve others.
Yes.
Beautiful. What an amazing way to end our 100th episode. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you so much for having
Natasha. This is so lovely. Sweet. It's really special.
Let's do it more often, Natasha.
Let's do it. Is this a spinoff? Is this a spinoff? These two?
What are you talking about?
Okay, so our producer just asked, what if I answer, what does it mean to be man enough? Oh, wow. I mean, I've heard the best answers in the world, including these two right here. So to me, being man enough is really tied to taking responsibility. And yeah, I can't think of anything sexier than someone taking responsibility. And I talk a lot about the difference between emotional expression and emotional responsibility that I think, and this applies to everybody, but I think we muddle the two, that being emotionally intelligent or emotionally evolved is not just being able to express all your emotions and being like, I feel this, I feel that, I feel that. It's also being able to be like, taking responsibility for your emotions and knowing how to regulate your emotions. I think for a long time I was so focused on what men were doing wrong and it meant that I was particularly my interpersonal relationships. And I realized like, oh, as soon as I took the focus off of them and I put it on me and took responsibility, then that's when I started, just my whole life changed. It relates to masculinity and to being man enough in sort of the same way. Like, and it's such a core tenet of masculinity. I think that if we presented men with that framing for a lot of these quote unquote more feminine things, like again, emotions, if we present it as like taking emotional responsibility, I think it would land very differently and become a masculine feature as opposed to men bringing in their feminine, right? Or losing something masculine by doing that. Yeah, that's fine.
I love that.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks. So if you like what you heard, you can check us out at
That bringing in their feminine was very much like how Emily was using masculine and feminine.
www.manenough.com/podcast and check us out wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple and Spotify. You can watch these two incredibly gorgeous, stunning, intelligent, sublime women on YouTube. And yeah, we are so glad that you joined us for 100 episodes.
Such an honor.
It's such an honor. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to our listeners for being there throughout all of it and creating space for these incredible conversations.
Creating space.
I'm Liz Plank.
I'm Emily Baldoni.
And I'm Natasha Heath. And this is...
I didn't like it. I just disliked it. I show you. I disliked. Thank you so much for watching this with me. It was horrible. It was terrible. It was like a nightmare world that I'm very glad that I don't have to live in. That was a lot. There was a lot that happened. There was a lot we saw. Yeah, the men didn't pop back up, but we did have the producer. We did have the producer texting them. All right. So that was the 100th episode of Man Enough. I'm seeing people in the chat want me to watch the Wells for Boys sketch, but the thing is if I watch that, all of the ads that have already run tonight are going to go directly to Saturday Night Live, and I don't want to do that. So if you would like to watch Wells for Boys, you could just go watch it after this. But I know that the SNL skits are going to get copyright claimed, and my streams for Man Enough so far have not been getting copyright claimed. So I don't want to watch an SNL skit tonight. Yeah, Lauren has enough money. But I do love Wells for Boys. And Justin Baldoni wishes that he were a well boy. I think Emily also wishes Justin Baldoni were a well boy. All right. Well, that was 3 hours and 14 minutes to get through about an hour and 25 minutes of content. So yeah, right. You watch too many ads for them to go to waste like that. I appreciate it. I deeply appreciate it. I love streaming, and it's also this is a fun and good way to be able to kind of like make sure that my revenue is up even when I'm not necessarily able to do like a video every week, because I had been for a while pumping out videos much more often. But yeah. So, yeah, if you want to know more about what I mean when I'm joking about well boys, it's just a Saturday Night Live sketch with Emma Stone. But I'm gonna hop off because it's been a while. I've been talking for a long time. I love you. I will most likely be back tomorrow because I'm kind of hyper focused on Emily Baldoni right now. So I want to do a research stream for Mamas for Amas soon, or Amas for Mamas, or whatever the fuck it is. But yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. I love streaming. I think I saw earlier that there were like there were like 94 people watching. I have no idea most of the time while I'm streaming how many people are watching. But there were like 94 people earlier. I think there's like 80 people right now. I'm sure people are leaving as I'm saying goodbye. But that's wild. That is so cool to be able to just jump on and to get to talk to so many people, and especially to have so many lovely regulars in my chat here. I love you all very much. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you again soon.